You know what? It doesn't even matter. Just cut it. All right, what's going on, my friends? Welcome back to another episode of The Cut. I'm your host today. We're switching things up. I am Anthony Oquindo. Of course, we got here Tom Roth, and we have a special guest, Renz Scruggs. What's up, Renz?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Shit, good, brother. Good to have you on here, man.
What's up,
bro? So, tell us what you been up to, bro.
Oh man, a lot of travel this year. A lot of shows. A lot of just meeting people. Like, it's been a crazy year. A lot of opportunities. A lot of doors. A lot of rooms I'm in. Finally, it's been the year of like, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
You know, it's starting to make a lot more sense of why I was doing all these years of nothing, just doing music.
Yeah.
For me, it's starting to actually make sense.
So it's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
Yeah. So I remember back in the day, obviously been rapping a while.
Yeah.
I remember back probably like 2011, 2012, you had posted on Facebook that we're done rapping and you got your degree.
Yeah.
You got your degree.
Got my degree.
It's been fucking takeoff season ever since.
Ever since.
That's what's...
And I always attribute my passion and love for music for me getting to college, because I applied everything I was learning and I took that and applied it to what I wanted, like with business.
Yeah.
So it made everything I was learning a lot easier. I had something.
That's what's up. So, any new singles out?
Yeah.
What's
got Flight 226.
Yeah.
That's a more intimate kind of like just talking, you know.
Sure.
And then you have like a Freako where it's more so for like the dancers, things
Club?
like that. Club, yeah.
That's my shit, right?
Yeah.
Booty shaking?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
No, I heard Freako. Freako's a good song. I'm curious. So you've been traveling a lot, Miami, right?
Yeah.
Is Miami your favorite spot?
Yeah, Miami is a place where for me, so like funny backstory with Miami, I used to wake up every morning and I would go on earthcam.com, watch the sunrise in Miami. Like, so mentally I would be Miami. I'd never been to Miami during that time, nothing.
Okay.
So when I got there and got embraced, I mean, I made the whole song Miami without ever stepping foot in Miami. So I'm talking about a whole bunch of different places in Miami I've never been.
That you want to go to.
That I wanted to just go to.
Like manifested that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell yeah.
Exactly. So now I can go to Miami within the course of like 2 years of going from never being there and just kind of manifesting it. Now I can go to Miami, all people who are locals, born and raised, a lot of connection. Hey, I need a place to lay my head tonight. So it's a blessing for.
That's what's up. Like, would you say that's your second home? In a way?
No, Atlanta would be my second home. I actually lived there. I went to high school in Atlanta a little bit, but Miami definitely be the
third.
Yeah, definitely.
What is that? Where you're retiring when you get there? It's too wild.
Too wild. If I'm retired, like my vision is to do everything that I need to do in the course, and then when I get older, I'm gonna retire and build like a home in like
Tennessee,
middle
bro.
of nowhere.
What's up with Tennessee?
The peace and quiet. I want to be somewhere that is ducked off, have a wraparound porch, and I want to like have a moment where I'm sitting on the porch with my wife drinking coffee. Like it was all worth it. It was all worth
That's
it.
dope.
Have you been to Tennessee?
Yeah, been to Nashville.
You been to Gatlinburg?
I haven't been to Gatlinburg,
Bro,
but that's next. I gotta go there.
You been to Gatlinburg, Tom?
I've never been to Gatlinburg, but I feel like I've been to Tennessee. I've listened to a lot of Morgan Wallen, so
that's my dude.
mean, I love that dude. So, I mean, like, hey, listen, every single song he said something about Tennessee.
Yeah.
So I look it up. You know what I mean? And there you are. You know, and my wife though, her sister moved to Tennessee last year. She went like on literally like a pilgrimage for God. And she's living in Tennessee now, and so my wife will go down and visit her, and like she FaceTimes me and all that shit. And I've actually been to like church services remotely in Tennessee. Church is wild down there.
Oh yeah, the South is crazy, man. They take things a little bit more like South is passion behind everything.
Oh yeah.
No matter what it is, it's passion.
Shit was nuts.
Yeah, passion.
Shit was crazy. But so you talked about you're gonna do like the stuff in the music industry, right? Mm-hmm. So I feel like so talk about the music industry, because I feel like people who aren't ordained, I guess, in knowing about different industries. Just think of the music industry as, hey, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna see titties. There's a lot of weed. There's like partying all day. I'm just throwing money, like shit like that. But it's probably not exactly what it is. So talk about your journey in the music industry.
The music industry is my favorite part about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I feel like making music, a lot of people can do because there's no rules.
Yeah.
You know, you can kind of go there, do how you feel, and the people like it is just a plus. If you like it, that's what ultimately matters. Right,
Oh, yeah.
As an artist.
Oh yeah.
With the music industry, I feel my experience so far is it's definitely cutthroat, 100%. Like most of the people you run into don't have your best intentions for you in a sense. But it's a learning experience more than
Absolutely.
anything. And when you know that you are ultimately the bad,
yeah,
you have a little bit of leverage. So that's kind of what we've been doing over this past year is building leverage to be like, hey, I have performed in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
So it's not just and mostly when they look at, they go to your Instagram, right? They want to see numbers right away. That's the first thing they. But then
Is that what they look for most, like on IG, just like followers
right,
or what?
Right. They don't care about the content. They don't care. It's
How many
mainly
eyes are you getting in front of?
how many eyes are you in front of? So a lot of the time, marketing wise, they want you to do something crazy to go viral. And for me, it's just I got kids. Like,
Yeah, no,
I got
for
little
sure.
boys who have to look at me, and they have to say like, my dad is a stand-up guy. He didn't do anything to do this. So look at me crazy.
Yeah.
So that's important. But the music industry is something, and like I seen an interview. We were talking before the camera started rolling about Jay-Z. He said there's a lot of people who are good at music, but there's not many good at the music business. That's where a lot of people fail because they don't know how to put the two and two together. So, that's kind of what we're doing now.
Dope. Like so you talk about leverage. Like so a lot of people might not know. Kanye last year went in and he bought all the masters for his artists because so I didn't know this. I guess when you make a song, sometimes you don't own that shit anymore. Like the people who your record
label.
company owns it.
Right.
And Kanye is like, well, no, fuck that. That's stupid. I'm gonna get my people their shit back. And so we talk about leverage. Like, have you ever ran into something where someone's like, hey, like that was a dope song, but it ain't yours anymore. It's mine now.
I haven't ran into that because I haven't signed any deals.
Oh, okay.
So we've had a couple different offers, but because of things like that, we don't want to give up everything that we're creating. You know, these people have nothing to do with this creative process at all. So why should they own any?
That's smart though, bro. I mean, like Mac Miller, he was the big RIP. He was the biggest independent artist of all time. Like no one owned his shit. Now I think I read something where like his family owns all of his shit.
His brother, Mac Miller, actually, the Miller portion of his rap name is that Miller part is his brother's first name.
Okay.
So Miller is Miller McCormick, Mac Miller's older brother, and he, when Mac Miller passed away, Miller took it upon himself to make sure that his family not benefited from the passing of his brother, because obviously they would want him to be around still, but nobody else could reap the benefits of his sales going through the roof. So he made sure that the right people got those. So to me, that's a stand-up thing. You should do that, family and your brother.
Absolutely.
So you said this shit's pretty cutthroat, bro. I'm just curious, like how. Obviously, this shit's cutthroat. Like, I'm gonna succeed, you're not gonna succeed. Like, I feel like that's how it is. But what's up with all these fucking rappers getting killed, bro? You got so many within the past. I don't know. Within the last couple of years, you got probably a dozen.
It's ridiculous.
PNB Rock just got killed.
PNB Rock, yeah. Like
Nipsey,
Nip. You got Pop Smoke. You got
King Von,
X. Yeah, you got. Whew.
I think that the main thing that for us as artists is we have to understand the importance of the power of the tongue, right? Because we're putting all these things on record, and manifestation to me is real. Laws of attraction, what you put out is what you get. So even with the music, you know, you are playing with fire when you do, you know, just highlight a certain lifestyle, because somebody, I don't care who it is or who you are, somebody's gonna want to see about that.
Yeah.
Just natural. It's a dog eat dog world, and the environment that we all come up in, that's just what we naturally know. So if you're highlighting that, 9 times
Do
out
you
of
see
10,
that
it's
as a
probably
problem with the rap music
yeah,
today?
I do,
Yeah.
100%. Because, and I'm not gonna sit here and say like I go on songs and I'm just this perfect angelic person who just always talks about positivity, because my environment, my entire life wasn't always positive.
Right.
But with like the PNB Rock situation, that was something that hit close to home. You know, he was somebody who, I have a beat machine sitting in the closet that's from him. When he got killed, not a week ago, I text his cousin like, "Hey man, I hope you guys are okay." Like, you know, this is because ultimately you have to remember too. So now what the difference is I'm getting into a space where these aren't just rappers who I've been seeing on TV. They're actually becoming. I'm forming relationships with these people. So like I said, I didn't personally know PNB Rock. My manager Trey McMullen had him in his car with him, and he left the beat machine for me. But through that, I built a strong relationship with his cousin or nephew is one of them. So that situation does hit really close to home for me, and it really opens my eyes, because I don't want to work this hard to get to a certain place for somebody to take my life because of a materialistic.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, and I'll say this on camera right now, I know what's important to me. Would I ever be the person to have a whole bunch of diamonds on me anyway? No. Those diamonds are going to go to my wife. That's just how I like gold. But if I was ever the person where someone was to be like, "Hey, give me everything," have this.
That
It's
shit
not
ain't
worth
nothing.
it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. You could have it.
Yeah. Punk me. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. I call it a smart decision.
And at the end of the day, if you don't have enough money to buy that chain 3 times, you shouldn't have bought it the first time.
Jay-Z.
That's true.
Jay-Z said that.
You shouldn't have bought it the first time. So I'll give it up because I could go buy this 2 more times.
Yeah.
Yo, I mean, so King, when you said King Von, like Lil Durk, that I remember when King Von, R.I.P., when that happened to him, Lil Durk was real pissed, as he should be, because they were like best friends.
Yeah, this is like his brother.
And then I don't even like dignifying this dude with airtime, but Tekashi 6ix9ine goods out there and starts talking pretty reckless, because that's what he does. We talk about Instagram followers, viral, that kind of thing. He's out there doing it.
Dude, how the fuck has he not been touched?
That's what I'm getting at. How does someone like him, so since you're in the music, how does someone like that get the clout? Why would people even want to still work with him?
So ultimately,
polarizing.
I think ultimately with Tekashi and his situation, he was somebody who was just trying to find a way out. Right? And he was around real street guys. These aren't just fake people. These are real street guys.
But I feel like that wasn't his lifestyle. That's not.
It wasn't his lifestyle, and he'll tell you that now.
Yeah.
He'll say like, "I had a plan and it worked."
Yeah.
And it just kind of went left, and I'm not really. But the biggest thing is you know what you signed up for. So you know what you signed up for. You can't just go tell on everything. However, now, right, I will say this with Tekashi 6ix9ine is, as much as he is the antics that he does, he's also riding around with no security. Nobody's touched him. Nobody's shot at him. And I would never wish that on him.
Oh, for sure.
You know, that has nothing to do with me. I just think that ultimately, with a lot of rappers now, they have a lot of things going on outside of music, and putting your hands on him or doing something to him is an instant right away to like the feds are gonna be. So they're thinking through certain things. I'm not gonna just do it because, you know, but
even pre like the whole racketeering charges and snitching, like there were a couple people who pulled up on him, but for the most part, the people who really fucked with him and like, you know, the whole kidnapping thing, fucking stealing his chain, all that shit, that was his people, allegedly.
And that's love that he bought.
Yeah.
That's not people who he grew up with.
Oh yeah,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
familiar
Like,
with that shit. Even growing up, I know a lot of people who,
right. This
they only
wasn't the
fucked with a
kid.
certain
This wasn't the person that was
because it was
riding bikes with
beneficial.
us.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
He wasn't riding bikes with us when we were little. He's just an opportunity.
Yeah.
And now my livelihood is based off of this one person who's just feeding me money. So the moment he says no, he already got me accustomed to this lifestyle. Now you say no, I'm pissed. I don't even like you anyway.
Yeah.
You're just feeding my family.
Tolerated.
You know what I mean? You're somebody I tolerate.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, man. I would never want that type of backing behind me. I would always want genuine,
real love, man.
Yeah, real love for sure. I would never do anything to portray an image, kind of get.
It's just so crazy now. Like a lot of these rappers, like they a lot of these guys, they're getting killed. They're getting like all this stuff's happening, and you look at other guys. Guys have been in it for a minute, right? Snoop Dogg, The Game, Jeezy. Like I'm just throwing names out there. I mean, Lil Wayne. Like these are guys like we talked about. They portray a certain lifestyle. I mean, Lil Wayne in one song literally said, "I'll talk shit till I die, so come and kill me."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but no one's ever pulled up on him. No one's ever pulled up on Game. Well, people pulled up on him, but they've never done anything. I mean, so why is it that like these younger guys are getting these younger guys? It's happening to them, but there's these other guys that like are really gang affiliated. Yeah. Like Snoop Dogg really is a Crip. Right. Like Game really is a Blood. Right. Like
one thing I noticed, the transition in music. You have back in the day when we were younger, you had drug dealers. Now all these rappers are drug users.
Yep.
It's true.
It's so true.
So like I don't know if it's just making them reckless or what.
But. And you got to understand too that in 2012, that's when drill hit this. When drill music came, it changed everything. Like I seen the impact of drill music right here in Ashton Butte.
Oh, with drill team.
No, like drill music comes from Chicago, so it's basically like Chief Keef and you know what I mean.
Okay.
So the drill music, it put a whole shift in like a black community.
Okay.
So because this music was basically popularized about ultimately your ops or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
It trickled down to the ghetto where now everybody wants to be a shooter. They don't want to play basketball no more. They don't want to play football anymore. They want to be. That's it.
Yeah.
14, 15-year-old kids. So the music is extremely, extremely powerful. And back to what you were saying as far as with like the people who are actually we know are gangbangers and things like that. They use music to get out. Where right now, a lot of music is like, a lot of these kids' lives are changing. They care about that. It's a hustle for them. So they're gonna be who they are because they don't even care about them. Something that just so happened to work for them.
Yeah, sure.
So they're not really thinking it as a business because they're just kind of getting thrown into it. And what they have going on already, they just enhance it because now they got money to do more of it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's like crazy. So like you think about like Lil Wayne. I hate to keep going back to it, but like
one of the GOATs.
He was a millionaire at 13.
Yeah.
And he got shot. Or he didn't get shot. He shot himself in the chest. And I mean, he's selling crack. And I mean, he parlayed all of that into becoming, as he said in his song, the best rapper alive. You know what I mean? And he really used. I truly feel it's like you said. He truly used that to get out of the projects in Louisiana and buy a house with 10 bathrooms so he could shit all day. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I mean that was dope. Like Wayne really did it, and guys like Jay-Z. I mean, he said it in the "God Did" song just now. Please forgive him for what the stove did. Yep. Like, he got out of selling crack. Like, he became a billionaire. You know, Kanye West left the projects of Chicago and became a billionaire. I mean, I got his shoes on. Like, Jesus. I mean, Jesus. Yep. I mean, it's truly like you just said. These dudes that became big pre-2012, they truly used all this shit to get out, and now these guys, like you said, they're using it to strengthen almost their status within something,
and even like their community too. So a lot of these places are They live on one street, and 2 streets over, those kids who are the same age as them want to kill them, and vice versa.
It's crazy.
They're 2 streets away from each
For
other,
no reason.
just because they're from 2 different streets.
That's crazy.
And you know, obviously, there's gang affiliation with this street is this and this street is that, but
And-
ultimately, it's all for nothing.
Yeah, and music fucking
So
amplifies it or
exactly.
encourages
So
it.
now you're taking these kids who are, that's what their norm is, and you're giving them millions of dollars. They're just taking that money and buying more guns for their friends who they can't bring out. They can't bring
Yeah.
everybody.
buying those diamonds that you talked
Exactly.
about.
Exactly.
That absolutely mean fucking nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
And I mean, you can't take like what is the actual value of that shit?
Right.
You don't get nothing out of it. Like,
And I
Clout.
really look at it like blood diamonds too. Like
Mhm.
I really 100% look at, if you're somebody who likes to be draped in diamonds, by all means, 100%.
mm,
But I really understand the meaning behind the whole blood diamonds and things like that. So I take it kind of with a grain of salt. I wouldn't want my life to be taken over something that I don't really agree with anyway.
the craziest part
You know?
is synthetic diamonds nowadays are just as good.
Yeah.
And they're like making diamonds in a lab. Like you're buying, you're killing somebody over something that
Mhm.
somebody could literally go into a fucking labratory and make.
And
It's
make
not
it.
like it's like it's not a rare stone. There's
And these
vaults
chains are custom chains
with people's names on.
with people's names. You
So-
can't take it and go pawn it somewhere and then
Yeah.
not get caught. This is a custom one of one chain.
Yeah.
You know, so it just goes to show how much further we need to
It's
go.
a fucking power trip,
Yeah,
bro.
and,
That's
and,
crazy.
and not even a power trip, man. Sometimes, bro, people are just in survival mode.
Yeah, I don't see it as that though.
You don't?
Because you don't. No, I'm not gonna rob you for your chain.
You
chain.
and I.
Well, no, I'm saying in general. You're not gonna gain anything. Like, what is that survive? You're not surviving shit by robbing somebody for their chain.
So
It's a dominance thing. It's a power. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
a power
move.
trip for sure.
Yeah, it's a power move.
But you got to understand too that, like, okay, for the P&B Rock situation, right?
Mhm,
He was at Roscoe's Chicken in LA.
mhm.
That's not in the Beverly Hills. It's right there in LA, like
Right.
where everything's happening at, right? So, I mean, we can go to Main Street right now and find somebody who's like, you know, their condition is heartbreaking. So, these kids, or, you know, young men, whatever the case may be, that's what their environment is at home. And their mentality is, oh, he thinks that he could come here and just sit here and chill. And I know if I take this from him, my financial situation that I'm going through right now is cleared up.
See, I don't see it like that, especially when you're dealing with somebody with celebrity status, because you know the spotlight's definitely going to be on you.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? So why would you? To me, it doesn't make sense to have the mentality that your financial situation is going to come up because your legal situations are also going to
Very
come
true,
up too.
very
You know what I'm
true,
saying? So
yeah.
you're putting yourself not only at risk of jail, but you could be killed in the crossfire too. Like
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't make sense as a
It's not worth it.
It's to me, it's more of like a power move. Like,
Yeah. But the first thing they do too with these chains, after they announced, you know, that P&B Rock had passed away and God rest his soul, the next news clip was basically the news reporter giving an alert to all pawn shops. So that's kind of what they're doing. They're taking these and they're trying to go to the next county to pawn it off and get half the money, but
Yeah.
it's more than what they've had ever in their life.
Could you imagine with just like maybe like you talk about like the little kids or the young men and it's their condition that they're in. Could you imagine if there was just like love in their home, man?
Oh man, it would
You know
change
what I'm
everything.
it would change everything.
Change everything.
Like my dad he's not the greatest guy in the world.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I mean, my dad's a good man, but he never like. I mean, I'm
He has his
33
moments.
years old. I mean, he never even told me he loved me. You know what I mean? But like, I knew he did. You know what I mean? But like, there's some situations I've been in my life. You know what I mean? That like, I could have done some crazy shit. But
Yeah.
like, you think in the back of your head, like, it's gonna ruin my mom's life. It's gonna ruin my dad's life. Like, and not only their life, but like their view of me, man. It's gonna break his heart.
Mhm.
Like, and like, if they just had that person at home, you know what I mean? Like, how crazy would this world? How much more beautiful would this world be? Like, and even the music, man.
Yeah.
Like, the music would be
The
better if
music
there
would
was
be
just
better.
love at home. Like, think about Jay-Z when he was rapping and he was selling crack, right? He was amazing rapper. But then he met Beyonce, and then they got married. And he actually had fucking love in his home, man. His music became more lyrical. You can tell there's the cracks Jay-Z, and then there's Beyonce and Jay-Z.
You got Reasonable Doubt to about Hard Knock 2 Volume 2, and then there was like a whole shift, you know, Kingdom Come, and the music became more grown.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I'm kind of going into.
Almost like a gospel.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a real fucking churchy, like you got choirs, you got fucking...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when Wayne, Wayne always went crazy, but like think about like when Wayne was just by himself and he had Birdman, right? And it was just those two.
Yeah.
But then he got Nicki and he got Drake and he got Jay Mills and he got all of them, right?
Young
and then
Money roster was crazy.
Young Money roster. And he had those people with him that loved him. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're with you, Wayne. Like I'm your boy.
I think there were only a couple people that were really like that.
I think Drake, like, Nicki, those people though, like when they when he truly saw it, there's people that love me.
There was those like Drake and Nicki were like obviously superstars, right?
Then there was Gutta,
and then
Gutta,
you had
though,
Tiger,
man.
but then you had Gutta, and you had people like Marley G, people that really actually came up with Lil Wayne. That with him, it was probably more so like y'all don't ever have to make a record if you don't. Like, that's really like my brothers. He just struck gold with Drake.
But he had love finally. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then the tone shift with him. Yeah. He went even harder.
Yep.
So think about like if I don't even want to go back to this, but think if Tekashi had actual love at home. You know what I'm saying? How different would he be?
I think that with Tekashi, I actually kind of love getting these questions, like with the Tekashi, right? Because everybody avoids these questions with the Tekashi. But I'm the person who doesn't live a lifestyle where it's just that him telling on anybody does not affect me by any means. Now, if I was living a certain lifestyle, do I agree with him? No. Just because that's a lesson that I was taught at a young age. You know, you belittle, stop all that tattletale. You know, you get that when you're a kid.
I don't know. I think when you're looking at fucking years and years behind bars, I don't know.
It's a little, I mean...
Especially, I mean, he's got a kid, you know what I'm saying? He's got a family, so...
I understand why he would have done, why he did it, but I don't agree with it.
I don't agree with it either.
I don't agree with it, because I know that when you sign up for something, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you're in that lifestyle, like you
if you can enjoy all the highs from this life, you have to take the low too. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah. You have to. That's just being a man.
That's just a part of it, right?
Yeah,
that's being a man.
That's being a man. Like,
but if he did have love in his house, and I'm not saying that he didn't. We don't know if he did or not.
Oh, true. Yeah.
But I think that if people were to naturally just be okay with themselves, you're gonna naturally get into the circle that you need to be in, or that circle is just gonna come to you, and nothing's forced.
Yeah.
So the only reason, ultimately, Tekashi is in the position he is because he was faking it. That's your fault, bro.
You did
it's your fault. You know that this isn't the life.
I've watched a couple of interviews with him, though. He's pretty
smart
goddamn
guy.
smart.
He's a very smart guy.
Smart, yeah.
Extremely
marketing.
Smart.
I would say he's
a marketing genius of today's age, 100%.
Yeah.
And
but on like a simply like a troll factor.
Yeah, and if I think that if he would have never had that portion about his career, because the things that I see Tekashi do when it comes down to just going to neighborhoods and taking care of, like, you know, giving money to people who are in need or whatever, I agree with that type of stuff. That's the type of stuff I love to see. Yeah. So it's not like he's a terrible human. He knows what he should be doing, but I think that it caught up to him, and he made a decision. Now, if there was, back to your question, like if say he wasn't loved, I think that that's the answer to everything. Honestly, I think that's the answer to everything when it comes down to whatever you're doing in life. You know, your partner at home, your family in general. Like, if people just showed a little bit more love, and people were just assured, like, I know this person loves me. You're not gonna want, like you said, you're not gonna want to let certain people down. You're not gonna want to do it. Now, for me, that was my grandfather, man. You know, God rest his soul, this is his watch, but I never wanted to let him down. I could have 100% been a totally different person. Sometimes I feel like I was supposed to be, and I was just so resilient to not do it because I never wanted to let him down.
Absolutely.
I knew it would break his heart if he seen me. 100%.
Well, you definitely had the opportunity. I mean,
for sure.
We grew up in the same
Yeah,
neighborhood. I
yeah.
mean, there was plenty of opportunity to get in trouble if you wanted to get in
It
trouble.
was right out the. Once you open the door,
Yeah,
it's right there.
yeah.
So it's hard to avoid, but I think that's what ultimately separated me from a lot of like with music too. The opportunities that I may get that the next person might not, you know. And I tell all my friends now because they're still my friends at the end of the day. You know, I want to see them do really well in life.
Yeah.
But sometimes I feel like we don't understand here that you may be good in this area, but you have to work on this area to tie it all in for these people to make it make sense. Because if you're portraying a certain lifestyle or you're pushing an agenda, we're seeing too many people who are like us die. I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to even be affiliated with that type of music. I want to make music that is going to make people like, wow, he's an incredible artist and he can do so many different things. And most importantly, I understand how important leading these kids in the right direction is. 100%.
Let me ask you a question. Who's your favorite newest artist out there?
Like oh no, you know what? Mainstream is like Jack Harlow's really dope to me. I met Jack Harlow in Miami one time, him and Drewski in Club Live.
Drewski?
Yeah, yeah.
That dude's awesome, man.
So I was at the top and I seen this is when Drewski had his hair blonde and I seen him. I didn't even know Jack was there, but I went down to go into my little section and I just kind of pounded up with Drewski and then seen Jack and just dapped him up and just kind of went on about my business. But Jack Harlow is dope, and then La Russell, man. I don't know if you guys know about La Russell or not, but this kid from like the Bay Area, about 27 years old. And he kind of is. He's not flashy at all. Never wears jewelry and like that, and he puts concerts on in his backyard.
That's totally
Wait.
sick.
300 people come to his house.
No shit.
Yeah, like 300 people.
Rap?
Yeah, he's super dope. Russell is super crazy.
Like La Russell, like Russell.
LaRussell.
Wow.
Look him up. He's one of Russ's favorite artists.
For real?
For sure.
Russell's one of my.
Yep, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You gotta look him up. You gotta look him up.
The new artists are crazy now, man. Like just the shit that they're able to do.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like when we were growing up, everyone kind of sounded the same, but like put their own spin on stuff. I mean, you had the South, you had like Paul Wall, you had Jeezy, Gucci Mane, you had the
WAP. Gucci, one of my favorite artists.
Listen, Gucci's crazy.
Gucci got a hold on the game. He
Oh,
did.
He did.
Oof.
And then you had the North, you had Jay-Z, Kanye,
Bad Boys.
Bad Boys. I mean, you had those
50.
guys. 50. But Eminem was really the one that sounded so different, and So I never liked Eminem, and I still don't. Like everyone's like, oh, Eminem's top 5, bro. I don't even have him in my top 15.
Yeah.
Like,
Eminem is not somebody that I go to and listen to like on a day-to-day basis.
I just like his wordplay.
But Eminem to me is like
I think his wordplay's trash.
I think
What?
Eminem's crazy.
I think his wordplay's trash.
Do you?
What?
Yeah, I have a master's degree in English.
Oh, so you're like really pinpointing.
So like I pinpoint shit.
You're too literal.
I am
You're too
I'm a
literal.
very literal human
That's
being.
the whole point of music
But-
and art, though. Is like it's not structured. It doesn't have to be structured.
So what I'm getting at, it's funny you say that. There's an artist that's out right now that like Anthony knows. I mean, I really fuck with like the two guys. I fuck with Jay-Z and Kanye, and that's what I'll listen to. But there's this dude that I heard for the first time probably like last year. Lil Baby.
Oh yeah.
Oh
And
yeah, Lil Baby.
He does that shit like that Snoop Dogg was talking about where people go da-da-da-da-da-da, and I hate that music. Like just because like to me it doesn't sound, everyone sounds the same.
Mhm.
But I heard Lil Baby it was on ABC, there was a music awards thing. And he got on stage and he did the song called Emotionally Scarred.
Yeah.
And he's talking to a therapist the whole time when he's doing it. And I was like, that's such a dope idea for something, because it was a real therapist.
Yeah.
And she's like jotting down notes.
That's awesome.
And I started listening to this dude more, and music's just so crazy now. Like a dude that does something like that comes out and can change someone's mind completely. You know what I mean? And now I'll listen to that type of music because of Lil Baby.
I always say
listen-
Baby is one of those people, and it's because of my time spent in Atlanta. Like, and I'm in Atlanta a lot now with music, but Baby is so Atlanta. There's like if you go to Atlanta, you'll see 1,000 little babies. But he's special in his own way.
Mhm.
I like Lil Baby because he can put together a nice cadence, but he can tell a story.
Yeah,
but it's like, would you consider his music like drill music?
No,
No,
I wouldn't at all. I would say Lil Baby is 100% kind of what for the kids, like when we were coming up,
Like
seeing Lil
lyrics.
Wayne, Drought 2,
Yeah.
No Ceilings, things
Sure.
like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's Lil Baby for
Lyrics.
the 15-year-olds right now. Like he's the equivalent to
Lil Baby with his wordplay and what he can do is what I expected Eminem to be.
I would say with Eminem, the reason why Eminem is so impressive to me is because, and I'll tell you how I got kind of hip to Eminem is, like I was telling you, Jay-Z's my favorite rapper, and Renegade. There's a big debate on who had the best verse.
Yeah,
I'm always gonna go with Jay-Z because
Every time.
of what he was talking about. You know,
Mhm.
I had to hustle, my back to the wall, ashy knuckles. It was just, that was one. I know people that, you know, my friends, I would see them and their knuckles are ashy because they've been standing outside all day hustling, trapping, doing whatever. So like, his lyrics are a little bit more relatable for me. But with Eminem, I feel like for somebody to be able to just talk about the craziest shit ever and just make for me is a gift that a lot of people. Lil Wayne, or not Lil Wayne, I'm sorry, but Eminem could be in his basement, find something.
Yeah, see, and that's
A lot of people can't do it.
he's quick on his fucking. He's quick, and his wordplay can make basically anything.
Yeah, yeah. I hate that him and MGK did what they did. That's whatever.
When the only thing
when MGK set up,
They started
like a
beefing.
suicide mission.
Yeah, basically. I mean, but so with for me, I mean, MGK is the hometown kid, so I'm always gonna go with MGK no matter what. Just because, dude, I got to witness his come up, his takeoff into where he is now. I remember pulling up to a show and then pulling up right next to me in like a '07 Impala or something. Like before they even had anything. Him, Dubbo, Slim, their manager Ashley. I actually like flooded their car one time with my CDs mixtape. I seen them get out the car. This is before I had a show with them. They were at the Wolsteins opening up for. I had a show at Peabody's, which was right there. And yeah, so like I've had communication with MGK beforehand. So when he seen me, he knew what I was there for. So now the whole street is crowded with people because there's 2 shows going on. But when he see me, he's like, bro, I really got to get to those things. Like, but good luck tonight, good performance. So in my head, I was like, okay, he knows who I am and what I'm here to do. I'm not just a regular person standing in the line for whatever. But because he's a Northeast Ohio kid, I'm always gonna root for it. Always.
I like seeing him win.
I just saw something on Facebook. He went over on his time on his show, and it was like every 10 minutes was like $70,000 or some shit.
Yeah.
And he fucking there for like another 45 minutes.
Yeah. And then he just sold out the Brown Stadium.
He sold it out.
He sold out the Brown Stadium. That's incredible, man.
That's prolific.
That's incredible.
That's
I don't even know anybody who actively listens to it.
Actually, there's a lot.
I know, but that's the crazy part. Like, I don't know. I couldn't even count on one hand how many people I know that listen to his music.
But so I can count on, like, if I had like 5 different hands, how many people I know who have like from during the time of his come up, lace up tattoo.
Oh yeah,
19 established in 19XX.
I know a lot of people like
many
that.
people with those tattoos, man. So like it just goes to show his impact before he became a pop star. He was still very impactful on his. Like, you gotta respect it with him.
I wanted to get an EST 1989 tattoo because of MGK. Yeah. I really did, and I still might do it. I don't know.
A lot of people, man.
Up
here I have EST 1992 because of MGK.
I was actually talking to JR about that. I went and saw him on last Tuesday, and I was like, "Yo, what if I got that up there?" And he was like, "We could fucking run it. It don't matter."
You know what song I love of MGK?
I have some, but
the fucking what's his one song with G?
Hold On, Shut Up.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I've never even heard that.
Who remembers my come up? Who
Never
remembers
heard
my broke ass when I had no food for my stomach? That song was sick.
Yeah, he went hard now.
I heard him say that he wants to drop another rap album. So if MGK, if you see this, I want to be on it. See it, I want to be on it because he's been getting a lot of talk of like because he switched styles, and a lot of people saying Eminem made him switch genres, whatever the case may be. I heard him say that he wants to do another album, like just rap, and I would love to hear it because I feel like he is.
Did he go to the top of the world?
No. He I don't think MGK has ever actually recorded at Josh's. A lot of other big, but okay, it's kind of more in home with them.
Yeah,
like his best friend is there, so they started off in the basement, and then Slim knew how to kind of engineer stuff like that, so they just house.
That's like what would have happened if like Deontay and
Exactly.
Matt Monis,
exactly same
Drew
situation.
Barnes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Some of the most. I used to walk from the west side to Deontay's house on the east side. Me and Sav to go buy his CD.
I wish I still had that ATP CD,
Yeah.
bro. I would pay.
I've got one.
If anyone has it, bro, I'll buy it from you. And I'm talking. I'll throw you $100 right now.
They were so ahead of their time.
Yeah.
When you listen to their music, and then you have to sit there and be like, they were 16 when they made these songs.
I can still recite the entire Dantes Wagner when
Best
he went over Down.
Ever come through.
When he did over the Cameron and Kanye beat the Down.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was crazy. And Down is one of my favorite songs of all time. The Cameron one, and I still to this day, people listen and they're like, "This song's hard." I'm like, "Listen, there was a kid from Beulah.
Oh yeah.
He went harder than Cameron ever could over this beat."
Lyrically, I think Dantes was the best when it come down to just lyrics to ever come through the city.
Dantes had that whole package though, man. Yeah. He would walk around the high school. I don't know if you remember, but Dantes would walk around Lakeside High School with his jeans. He had on a pair of Air Force Ones. He had on like a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robertson, like an old school jersey.
With fucking flat brim.
With his flat brim teacher told him take it off, and you're like, "I got you." Just keep it, take it off and put it right back on. Yeah. I'm like, this dude has it. Like this dude, if there was a dude that was gonna be a signed rapper, it was Dantes.
Listen, I'm telling you, that whole crew would have been signed if they would have fucking stuck to it.
Johnny P was crazy, dude. Like Johnny P was crazy.
Drew was sick, but Drew could sing too.
I'm telling you, the whole ATP.
Drew, I always looked at Drew, man, like Astor Bueller's Kanye, because I've seen Drew like pull out a keyboard and just make an incredible beat just off of being inspired by one moment. Somebody will say something to Drew. He's got a God-given talent that I personally have always felt he should way more.
Listen, I remember one time we were in school suspension and fucking he just starts, I hear this beat, and I'm over here just probably doodling on some shit, and I hear this beat start going, like, damn, I know that beat.
Yeah.
And it was a fucking Busta Rhymes beat. And he was just like, he just popped it out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, where the fuck?
Shout out to
like,
Drew,
and
man.
He just, feet, hands, pencils, whatever the hell he had, whole beat.
Yeah, we wanted to be like them. We wanted to be like ATP. We wanted to be, how Deontay, I'll never forget my freshman year of high school. Deontay was a senior, and he was walking in the hallway, and he had like a beanie on, and he had like just a stack of $100 bills in his hat just hanging. And I was like, man, this is like the coolest person in the whole school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then he was like homecoming king.
I was gonna say,
all that. Yeah. So Deontay, he always had that about him, man. So Midnight Malik, shout out to D.
Deontay was cool because he was cool with everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I never hung out with people like that, but like he would always come over, he'd talk to me, and like
Deontay was always cool, cordial with everybody. Yeah.
He was cool. Dantes was the same way.
See, I never personally met Dantes.
I had the privilege.
I know his brother though.
Who's his brother?
Because Dantes last DeJuan Wagner.
DeJuan, yeah.
The little brother. He's my
Kevin
age.
was his cousin.
Yeah.
DeJuan Wagner, didn't he play basketball at Lakeside?
He played at Columbus.
He was tall as shit, right? Yeah.
Could jump super high too.
He was a year younger than me. Yeah. He was a year younger than me. I graduated 07. He graduated 06. I remember DeJuan. I didn't know I was his younger brother.
No, DeJuan, the DeJuan that I'm talking about, he would have been in 2010 with me.
Oh, did not.
I think they're brothers. I don't know. I'm pretty sure. His last name's Wagner, right? Dantes Wagner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there would have been Dantes, Kevin, and then Dewan.
Oh, the ATP though, bro. I mean, I'm serious. If I could ever find, I'd throw some mad money at that CD.
So if y'all got an ATP CD, man,
Hit me
give it
up.
to my man.
Hit me up because I got $100. I'll throw it right now. I ain't even joking. It's got to fucking play though.
Yeah, it's got to
And
play.
if it skips, I'm getting my money back.
Which one are you? Which ATP CD are you talking about?
The
'Cause
one
I have one,
Listen,
bro.
the one where it's the white background and they're all standing like with their hand in their pocket. It's got down on it. It's got "Let Me Give You Dome."
This is the one with Dantes on it.
The one with Dantes on it, and they remixed the Terror Squad "Let Me Take You Home"
Yeah, I remember that.
to "Let Me Give You Dome."
Yeah.
That fucking awesome.
Drew and Deontay's Hustling, man, is one of the best written songs.
I got that shit on my phone right now.
One of the best written songs to ever come through this city, and they were 16 years old.
That was sick. I remember when it came out, there was an English teacher that I had. Her name was Miss Lawson. And Miss Lawson,
her. Yeah.
chubby lady, never got out of her fucking chair. And either Drew or Deontay gave her the CD. She actually fucking listened to it.
Yeah.
And she was talking in class, and she said if they would just like not swear,
Uh-huh.
this would be amazing.
Yeah.
She was like, this is beautiful. Like, so that was really cool too, because like you had a teacher who like
Paid
she was
attention to
older.
it. Yeah.
I mean,
I told probably a different world she's used to.
different world, everything, and she saw the value in it.
Mhm.
Like, I feel like that's only in a place like Ashtabula, man.
Oh yeah, that's really
Like,
special.
Ashtabula is special for many reasons, but that reason, I always remember that shit, man. For
Yeah.
some reason, it's stuck in my head. Like, you have so many teachers and shit. You ain't gonna be nothing. You're gonna be nothing.
Yeah.
Like, even college people. Like, I remember, I read the story. Wide receiver in the NFL. His name's Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
All right. Edelman went to Kent State. He was quarterback, and he had this dream
Did he really? I
to
didn't
make
know
the. He went to Kent State.
wow.
Man, he had this dream to make the NFL, and his civics teacher or someone's like, "You're never gonna do that. Like, get your degree. You're not doing that." He makes the NFL.
Yeah.
And think about just if that teacher would have just believed in him.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's so petty. He sent her his jersey. He sent her a letter, like all this stuff. I thought I wasn't gonna make it.
I'm doing the same shit.
You know, that's
Yeah,
crazy though. Like when you make it, man, that's the best feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're never gonna do it, and then you do it.
Even the process. I'm in love with the journey.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I'm in love with the journey more than anything. Because
Yeah.
as a kid, man, we didn't travel. We weren't fortunate enough to go take Disney trips and take family vacations. So that was my biggest thing with this, is like, this might really allow me to go see the world. That was my sole reason of doing music, is the opportunity to travel. And now that I'm actually like traveling through music, it's like, this is exactly what I asked for. So sometimes I'm like, man, I wish this would happen a little faster. Or
What's the best show you performed? Or like, I should say, what's the most amount of people you performed in front of?
10,000 with
10.
Rod Wave.
With Rod Wave,
Yeah.
I like that cat too.
Yeah, Rod Wave's
Girl
dope,
of my
man.
dreams.
Yeah, he's dope. We did 10,000 in Orlando, Florida, at the amphitheater.
Is he
How'd
cool
that
in
feel?
person?
He's quiet.
Why?
He's very quiet. He's one of those people he don't like. If he don't know you, he ain't about to fuck with you.
Yeah.
He's got his homies with him. He ain't about
He's got
to
his
be.
own little
You know what I
circle.
mean? He's got his own little. And I'm kind of like that too. I'll say
Yeah.
what's up to you, but if I got my friends here, sometimes I'm not really like interested in meeting new people.
Sure.
Just because like the more and more I get out there, the more and more I realize people suck. People
Fucking
suck,
low.
man.
Yeah.
Like
I enjoy
realize
my privacy sometimes.
it's hard to like when you find out that there's not a lot of people who are going to genuinely treat you like you are going to treat you. It makes you a little bit colder because you're like, damn, I thought that.
That's probably why the industry is so fucking dog eat dog,
Oh
like
yeah,
cutthroat.
because you got to understand that so many people have been through so much shit to get to wherever here is. right?
Bro, let me ask you: do people have to do some crazy shit for fame,
Oh yeah.
or like what kind of crazy shit have you seen that you like somewhat verified?
I've personally know someone who is on kind of the same journey as me. You know, we're in the same kind of head to head in the position where we're in the rooms making things happen. He was invited to a party in LA, right? And At the door, they were taking blood samples. At the door.
They were taking blood
Couldn't
samples?
get in unless your finger got pricked.
Why?
Ask any questions. I
Adrenochrome,
asked
bro.
him, did you prick your finger? He's like, fuck no. So, why? I have no idea.
That's some wild shit.
Yeah.
That's
You hear
like
some crazy shit right now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things going on as far as in regards to, and not even, that's not even a conversation for the camera, but there's a lot. There's a ton that if you fall down that rabbit hole, it's going to be a very long one. Very long rabbit hole. But it ultimately...
So here's what I'm thinking. So you talked about leverage earlier.
Yeah.
What if prick your finger and they got your DNA, they got your blood at a location, and then some shit goes on inside that they kind of like, I don't want to say force you to do, but kind of coerce you to do it.
They have leverage.
They have that leverage.
Right.
Now you're kind of under their thumb, no pun intended.
Right.
But and kind of at their mercy to do certain things. And if you don't, now you're going to get exposed.
Which is why, for us, we know the route of signing a major, it would have to be a, like, joint venture. Where, hey, we kind of have all this thing going, we have this going on and figured out, we just need you guys to fund it. We're not going to listen to what you tell us to do. I'm not going to go dye my hair to get more views. I'm not going to go I'm only doing what I want to do. Not in an asshole way, but it's just, I also know that if I do this the wrong way, what I create, like we were talking about earlier, what I create, why should your grandkids benefit from it and not mine?
Precisely.
If I wrote the song and performed the song and these are my emotions and raw feelings, your grandkids shouldn't benefit from it, mine should. And 9 times out of 10, when you sign that deal, those people's grandkids are benefiting from your hard work.
I could see from their perspective though, because they funded it.
Yeah.
They funded the project. They fucking had the connections. They set up the deals. They fucking got you plays on the radio. They did all this. So pretty much they're like, yeah, we are the one who made you success. Yes, that's your music, but we're the one who put you in the position.
We put a machine behind you.
We put you in the position to be able to do and become as big as you are.
And that machine, obviously is a working one, right? But it also depends on what you're bringing to the table, right? So if there's, for instance, we're talking about how rap is a very dangerous place to be in. There's a lot of people that are losing their lives only because they're hip hop artists. So what if we had something to leverage where through security we protected these individuals, whatever the case, just scenarios, right?
Yeah.
That's something that we bring to the table where you can't little boy me anymore. You can't little boy me and say, hey, I'll dangle this, and if you sign it, I'll change your life. Now it's like, I don't even need to sign that. I will, but it's going to be...
So you like the organic growth?
Yes. I would much rather have a relationship with that's with anything that I do.
We just talked about this earlier. Organic growth versus,
Yeah. We were talking earlier today.
Yeah.
Do I pay Facebook to get our posts out there more? Do I pay Facebook to kind of, pimp us out in a way, or do we put our nose to the grind? Do I maybe read some books? Do I maybe take a class or something like that on marketing, to make it? Because this is fun right here. You know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, I'm about money. I'm a businessman. You know what I mean? My money daily is made on brokering a deal, right? My family eats on what I do. Right. So, this is fun, but eventually we want to make money. Yeah. Anthony and I want to make money. We've talked about it. Like we would like to make money.
And that should always be the end goal.
Every time. If you don't make money, it don't make sense, man. So Anthony made a great point. Organic viewers are more loyal, right? 100%. So instead of taking that $100 I was going to throw towards Facebook, why don't I take that $100 and throw it towards a little bit of a marketing class that I could take at Ken Ashtabula online? You know what I mean? I learned how to do it.
You learn it yourself.
Learn it myself. Me and Anthony can then Anthony and I I'm English major. At that point,
son of a bitch.
at that point, I have the tools. The onus was on me. Yeah. I learned this shit. now we can take that investment that we made and make it fucking better.
And for
Not
the
only-
next person coming up, that's a hustle for you. You can teach
Exactly.
them how to do it.
Yeah, that's what I was
$100
gonna
more
say. I
dollars
mean,
in
you
it.
could always.
We grow it.
Yeah, that's one thing I love too is just teaching people how to do something. Like a lot of people can't see right now, but off camera, I actually got somebody. He was interested. He does videos. He does music. He actually has a song with you, Trey.
Super dope too. My guy over
yeah,
there.
yeah. But you know, so shout out to Luis. He wanted to learn some video production shit, so I invited him over, let him switch some cameras, and he can take a look at everything. And but yeah, I mean, if you can teach people how to do it, pay them instead of paying some big corporation to do it for you. I think that's way.
Absolutely, and that opened my eyes when you said like organic is more loyal. You know what I mean? So makes you think. You know, even the most simple sentence can make you think. You know what I mean? And here's my whole outlook on shit today. You know what I mean? Because now I'm texting Megan about, hey, what would you think if I went back to college and did some marketing?
Yeah, it makes you. It expands it a little bit.
Man,
more.
Yeah,
fuck
and now I
college,
might do it.
dude.
I'm going.
You better do it so you can get that tuition assistance, that fucking $10,000. You better put that loan in right now.
Motherfucker,
application.
if I go back to college right now, I don't got to pay my student loans again. That's another 4 years, baby.
Yeah,
That's another
true,
4
too.
years I'm
Deferred.
pushing that shit. I'm deferring that shit another 4 years, baby.
And I think that also too, man. Like it's so fucked up that we're in a space with music that if you're just a stand-up guy, you're not cool. If you're not shooting shit and you know what I mean, like you're not cool.
What
See-
Joyner Lucas have on the one song? He said, "Loving to think I ain't cool because I'm sober" or some shit like that.
It's
Yeah.
like the bigger crash dummy you are, the more people
That's
gravitate
because
towards
people love to. And Russ said this too. Smooth riding is fun to watch as a train wreck.
you. Very true. Very true.
It's crazy you just said that because like I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Like, if you're not doing something crazy, you're not cool.
Yeah.
Like, think about Mac Miller. Think about, to a lesser extent, like Kendrick Lamar. Think about some of these dudes who, like, if you go on the radio right now, you're gonna hear, like, I have XM radio and all my shit, right? And I listen to Shade 4-5. I listen to, you know, Hip Hop Nation, all that. They got King Von, Lil Durk. They got, I mean, good rappers. You know, Rick Ross, who he's not hard, but he'll make you think he is. But you never had Mac Miller on there all the time.
Nope.
Kendrick Lamar got big, and then they threw him on there, but that's because Kendrick is just gifted as fuck.
Oh yeah, shout out to
But-
Kendrick too, because my manager was
Big
on
time.
stage with him at Rolling
Loud?
Yeah.
Well, like, these guys aren't shooting.
Yeah.
Mac Miller wasn't shooting.
Right.
I mean, Mac Miller was sitting barefoot, you know, painting. You know, Kendrick Lamar is sitting there being a good dad.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, these dudes aren't interesting.
But only
Well,
the real
they
gonna
are,
last.
but to, like, people who
Yeah.
care about that shit. And it's sad in a way because, like, I listened to Mac Miller and he made such thought-provoking shit.
Yeah.
Like,
He did make some.
you
pretty
sat
beautiful
there,
music.
beautiful is the best way to
Yeah.
put it. Like,
Beautiful.
he made beautiful music in a world that isn't beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and
He made beauty out of pain.
he did.
When you
Ma-
listen to Mac Miller, you could tell, man, he's like crying for
Yeah.
crying.
And that's the saddest fucking part, man, because people in your life, when you get successful, I feel, and I don't know this, and maybe you can verify, everyone has a yes man. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, yeah, bro, fucking go do that, man.
Yeah.
And then when you get back, throw me a couple and I'll go do this with you.
Yep.
That, it feels like Mac Miller only had that. You know what I mean? And then he's with Ariana Grande. What's Ariana Grande have? Yes, women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, queens.
yes, queens. And it's
Something like that.
unfortunate because the dude took his life, and we really lost someone who could have done beautiful things. Because Mac Miller was never going to be that dude.
No.
Mac Miller was never going to be Kanye West. He was never going to be Jay-Z. But he was fine.
He had a
being him.
position and he played it very well.
Did. And he was fun. Like, you had fun Mac Miller. You know,
Kool-Aid and
loud,
frozen pizza.
Kool-Aid frozen pizza, Donald Trump,
Yeah.
all that. I saw Mac Miller live. It was the best concert I've ever been to.
I love Mac.
He was in the rafters. He had Pittsburgh Penguins jersey, throwing them into the crowd.
Wow.
And then it was so crazy because it was Mac Miller, Kendrick Lamar, French Montana, and Wiz Khalifa.
That probably would have been around the 2009,
2012.
2010, 12. Okay.
And French Montana, he wasn't that big yet. He was cool. Kendrick Lamar had the swimming pools drank song, and I'm like, this dude's pretty cool. Then Mac Miller comes on, and the energy's just crazy. And then you see shit like Wiz Khalifa came on, and he was so fucking high that he was just laying down on stage and like doing shit. I was like, this isn't even fucking fun.
Right.
Bring back Mac Miller, man.
Yeah.
Like, and like, what the? We really lost something great with Mac Miller.
I think that
the music world did.
I think with Mac, man, like for me, Mac Miller and the entire like Kids and Most Dope, and it would be an honor to be in that category of the age group and the artist, and then not just me specifically. I mean, like a group of us, like pick up where he left off.
Yeah,
the Kids and the Most Dope and all that, because when Mac died, man, that was so. There's, I don't know about you guys. I'm someone who feels things intensely.
Yeah.
So it could have nothing to do with me, but I could really feel like if something happened to you, I could genuinely feel like so sorry. You know what I mean?
Fuck yeah, bro.
And with Mac Miller, I always knew that I was gonna meet him. I used to always know, I'm like, I can't wait to meet this dude. We're so similar. He's from 3 hours away from me. He's from Pittsburgh. We're basically from Cleveland, Ashtabula. You know what I mean? I couldn't wait to just sit down with him like this, not and be like, yo, can we do a song? I really wanted to just talk to him because we were the same age.
Yeah.
While I was coming up is when I was seeing Mac Miller also come up. Obviously, skyrocketed, but I couldn't wait to just be a part. I wanted to like look at that man in his face and be like, I'm so fucking proud of you, man.
Absolutely.
You know, and the fact that stuff like that, when people ask me like, when are you gonna sign the deal or when are you gonna do that? Times like that, losing like a Mac Miller, losing a Nipsey Hussle, a PNB Rock. Sometimes I'll beat myself up over it because it's like I wish I could speed this process up. So I got to meet these people and just express to
I was
them
gonna
how
ask you,
important they
like,
are.
do you kind of regret taking that time off for school when you could have been focusing on music and maybe been a little bit further by now?
I would have for sure been further. But everything happens for a reason. And like I said, man, I really made a promise to those kids, those junior high kids when I was performing. I can't be the person telling them to stay in school and then I don't stay in school.
Yeah, but you were going to college. That was a different.
Yeah, and it was
You know
a little
what I'm saying?
different. But for me, it was like, you also got to understand that I had my kid.
Yeah.
Like life was a little different. It wasn't anymore like I'm just out here running around doing whatever. I wasn't thinking for me. No, as soon as I had my child, I stopped thinking for me.
Yeah, I feel
So even though I was only 21, that moment in my life, it cut out a lot of, I call it now excess baggage, because you know when you're younger and you don't really have any care in the world, you probably will do something that you know you shouldn't be doing and not really think about it while you're doing it. You're like, I know I probably shouldn't be doing it, but fuck it. Well, that stopped when I had a kid, and my friends still wanted to do that, and they didn't understand because they didn't have children where I was coming from. So I lost a lot of people that I thought I would never in my life would be out of my life. Same
Yeah.
people that I always looked at these individuals like, man, like my son is gonna call you uncle, uncle who, you know. And even though that wasn't the case, it built a lot of character for me. It did make me be like, okay, you have to do this, even though it's not the cool thing to do, but you have to, there's a reason and purpose behind it. So I could have easily, but you also, during the time, I was still recording music. I just wasn't really like, this is what I want to do. I was just recording music. And during those times where, it's weird, man, like during that time was when I kind of really did say like, I don't really give a shit about it. And then out of nowhere, I end up on the radio. So Josh Manis, there was actually a Z1079 used to have a voting thing. I forgot what it was called, but you would upload your music and then fans would have to vote on it. So ultimately what ended up happening is I got like 30,000 votes in a course of like 2 or 3 days. So people from the city were just going crazy.
That's
like,
awesome.
They were going nuts, voting like however many times a day, going crazy. So I was like killing it by a landslide. The next person next to me was like maybe 2,000 votes, 3,000 votes. I was like, obviously gonna win. And the person who won it got on the radio, right? So, long story short, I didn't win. D1079. So here's how this happened. There's a guy named Heartbreak Preem. Shout out to Preem. Matt Monis is with him all the time. He makes beats for him all the time. He jumped into the race of that like a day before, whatever. And then out of nowhere, this guy had like 40,000 votes, right?
Jesus Christ.
How did he get that many votes so quick?
Well, so he, I can't speak on how. I'm not gonna be like accused or anything like that. But Ray Jr. was like one of his main men.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, they had that connection up there in a sense, I think.
Yeah.
So they knew the radio host and things like personally. I didn't have that connection at all.
Yeah.
So just to set the scene, it was like a 10 minutes left of voting, and this dude's like 5,000 votes under me. And then during the time of voting, when you go onto the page, it still shows that I'm winning.
Yeah.
And then at the time the radio played the song, it wasn't mine. It was his. So I had everybody from the, like, well, not everybody, people who were paying attention from the city tuned in. Like, everybody's in their car, like, waiting for it, because they, like, of course, they're about to play my song.
They want to hear you, man.
They didn't play it. So that was a big learning experience for me. But then you fast forward, I ended up doing a song with Ray Jr. So
that's crazy, bro.
Yep.
So obviously, a little while ago when I was on another show, we interviewed you. You know, that's when I first got hip to who you are, and you know, my little brother. When I told him, I was like, because he's always interested in the shit I'm doing. He's like, who's gonna be on that podcast tonight? And I said, Rashad, who's more like our age.
Yeah.
My younger brother knew him.
Shout out to Shot, man.
Yeah, shout out to Shot. And I was like, dude, I think you went to school. And he was like, yeah, I went to school with him, and he was always really good at music. It's crazy that he's doing it. My younger brother, his name's Julius.
Yeah.
And he was always like, dude, like I'm surprised he hasn't done anything crazy with a big name yet. And then literally a day later, he sends me something, and it was on Instagram. And he was like, bro, I spoke too soon. And I think it was Fat Joe.
Yeah.
Had your CD.
Yeah.
How did Fat Joe get a hold of your CD?
So we've been like really laying a lot of the foundation in Miami.
Okay.
So just going there, making the connections, meeting a lot of people, and in Miami, that's where Fat Joe lives now. So ultimately what we did was we found out kind of exactly where the main people in Miami are as far as doing what we're trying to do. And we really just targeted that area.
Okay.
With a ton of just like, when we released the video, and it helped that the videographer was somebody who's like a very established person. He has a lot of connections. So he was passing it around on his end too. But I'll be honest, man, like there's a lot of things that happen. I just have a really, really great group of men and team behind me. Like my manager is like one of the, first and foremost, he's one of the, just a good ass person. First and foremost. He's from this city, man, Trey McMullen.
I went to elementary school with him.
Yeah, Trey McMullen. And the amount of people that man knows is crazy. Actually mind-blowing. So there's times, bro, like just to answer your question, when I seen the video, I was just as shocked as the people who might have been like, that's fucking crazy.
My brother was like, oh my God, bro, Fat Joe.
Yeah, and like the rooms that we're in, like the last time I was in Miami, man, I was using the restroom when Travis Scott walked in.
That's crazy. Travis
So
Scott.
I'm getting in these rooms, man, and it's like a test. Like, don't fan out.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I've realized something just by doing, just living life and, staying in a certain lane for a long time. If you're consistent, you will run into the right people.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
if you have a passion for something and you stay consistent and like you just continue to produce, you'll end up in that group whether you want to or not. It's not even something that like you have to try to do.
No.
You just start finding like-minded people who know like-minded people who know people who are doing it on the next level. We've talked about this before on the show. Like football. I think it was with Bushko. Like, if you're a football coach and you like hang around like college footballs, like athletes, like you will run into people who are doing it at the elite level, NFL, like professional, like multi-million, platinum artists, whatever the case is. If you're consistent, you'll find it.
That night, man. That night was it was actually at a club called Leia, I believe, Leia or something like that. But that night, man, it was Travis Scott was in there, James Harden, Fabio Foreign, and Lil Baby's wife or beyond whatever that situation.
Okay,
is, Jada. Yeah, all of them were in there. It was dope.
I met a rapper one time.
Who was it?
Currency.
Currency is so dope.
So I was at the Menor Mall, and it was around Christmas time. It was like 10 years ago. No, 11, 12. And I was at the finish line. This dude walked in, and I was like, Currency.
Yeah.
And cool as fuck. And he's like, yeah. I was like, man, I fuck with your music heavy. And he was like, cool. And I was like, what are you doing? He was like, about to buy some shoes, man. And at the time, I indulged in substances that made me smell.
They asked you what your fragrance was?
Yes. And I was like, I just so happen to have a bottle of that fragrance in the car. Would you like to smell it? And he was like, fuck yeah, I would. So I went outside and I got my fragrance, and he was like, I got this Dodge over here, like, let's go. Yeah. So we rode around Menor and sprayed the fragrance, and I met Currency.
Why are you beating around the bush, dog? You
because I have coworkers
blunt with them.
I have coworkers that watch this. I'm not about to get drug tested. Well, no, this was totally.
I was gonna say this is fucking goddamn.
But I smoked a fucking blunt with Currency, and it was like the. Listen, I thought I had pretty good weed, and
rapper weed's crazy. Right?
Rapper weed's crazy. He said he was gonna match.
Yeah.
And I had a grape white owl, and he said no, fuck that. And he had he had papers, and I didn't know how to roll papers at the time, and he rolled it. He's like driving, and he's just going like this, and he's like, here, and I'm like, oh shit.
Currency is a dope ass person. So actually,
he was cool as fuck.
Currency was signed to Young Money.
Yeah, a long time ago.
When Young Money first started, because him and Lil Wayne are both from like that same area or whatever. And Wiz Khalifa pays a lot of his respect to Currency just for kind of giving him a style to run with, in a sense. Wiz Khalifa has like the Taylor gang, Currency got the Jet, so they came together, and
that mixtape they did together was
crazy.
Sick.
Yeah, crazy.
I think Wiz Khalifa's a huge fucking sellout, man. I
love Wiz, man. I love Wiz because I think Wiz is somebody who is like, no matter what room he's in, he's gonna be Wiz.
Yeah, I heard
he's a cool dude, from what I heard, but music-wise, I don't know.
Yeah, I can understand where you could be. Well, and I fell in love with Wiz's music with Kush and Orange Juice.
Yeah, I don't think Wiz really fucks with the music like he used to.
I don't think so either. I think like he's more so in a business.
Yeah, like entrepreneurship. Like
for sure, absolutely.
Even Fight School, even before Kush and Orange Juice, Fight School, the mixtape was crazy too.
Deal or No Deal.
Actually coming up, I seen Wiz before. This was like when I was in high school. I knew I wanted to do music, but wasn't like actively attempting to do this. And Wiz had a show at Peabody's or Agora, one of them in Cleveland. And we went to the show, and this is before he was Wiz Khalifa.
Wait, was this 2009?
Yeah,
2008?
Might have been 8.
Right before he was at the Agora. I was there. Agora.
And I would just remember being like, who is this tall, skinny, tatted dude, man? Just smoking and smiling. That's all he was doing. Nobody really, people knew him, but he wasn't Wiz yet.
Yeah.
And then you blink your eye and he's Wiz Khalifa. Crazy.
It happens like that, bro.
It happened real quick.
Fast.
A lot of these dudes, man, it's happening quick now.
You think it is until you start to understand their backstory, and you're like, damn, you were at it for 10 years before it actually happened,
Yeah.
I almost get like discouraged in a way for some of these dudes though, like the one like Lil Xan or like Lil Pump, like those dudes, like they get that fame so quick and they get that money and it goes to their head, and then you talk about the drug dealers, drug users, like those dudes just have so many problems.
What's-
And I feel like the money hurts them, man.
I think so.
Because it stunts
What
their development.
Yeah.
What the fuck is up with Lil Uzi Vert? Like this,
Yo.
like anime rapper.
Dog, Uzi is just like that type of. I genuinely believe, right, that Uzi is his I don't give a fuck level is just like Lil Wayne's. And I know a girl who's seen Uzi live, front row, and she still was like, I still don't believe that's a real person.
It's crazy you say that because I literally was going to say I don't believe Lil Uzi Vert's a human being.
Well, wait a
Seriously.
minute.
I believe he's like an alien.
Well,
She's
somebody-
like, I don't even
I don't-
believe he's a real person.
I don't know if this is like common knowledge or what the fuck, but I was on the internet and somebody had mentioned him, posts about him.
Yeah.
And they were like, it all makes sense. Just say his name faster.
Makes sense.
Lucy Vert.
What does it sound like?
The show with the L.
Lucifer.
Oh, bro, don't. I'm going to go down a rabbit hole tonight,
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, somebody's like, just say his name faster.
Dude,
Lucifer.
he's talented as fuck,
Yeah,
though.
Uzi's super
Like,
talented.
So I heard a song. It was Pusha T's song, and it's called "Off the Top."
Uh-huh.
And he rapped the first verse of that song, and I was like, "This dude is really fucking talented."
Yeah.
But like, I feel like he's so weird that people don't take him seriously, and that's what's fucked up because the dude is lyrical.
I think that when Uzi came out, that it was just came out as in regards to getting nationally known.
Mm-hmm.
Not came out like I would never assume that, but
I would.
it was during a time where you gotta understand, like, I think that Uzi just so happens to be one of the last ones standing of that era.
Sure.
Because it was X, it was even Trippie Redd. Trippie Redd still is incredible.
Trippie Redd's a dope rapper.
Playboy Cardi, like all of them had kind of like that goth feel, and then Lil Peep was somebody who
R.I.P.
Yeah, rest in peace to Lil Peep, man. He was one of the kind of trendsetters behind that.
That
You know
emo
who I
rap.
think started all that shit? Lil B.
Yeah,
Lil
Fuck Lil
B.
B.
yeah, dude.
Lil
The
B.
bass god.
Praise God. Remember he put a curse on everybody that would actually work? He like put a curse on like James Harden one time on Twitter. And James Harden had a terrible series.
Listen, think about Lil B's style, like from back in 2011, 2012.
The pack.
Like
You
he
remember that?
fucking wear tutu.
Got my
fucking.
pants on,
yeah.
looking like Snake.
Remember Lil B was in the pack around that, so he had long dreads.
Was he?
And then
Yeah.
he cut it, and then that's when he started. When he cut his hair, is when he
Doing all
turned
weird
into
shit.
right.
Yeah, but like all that shit that he was doing then is like mainstream rap, which is weird as fuck. That shit does not make any sense to me.
I think he's the person who started the using the internet for a marketing.
Oh, he absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
like
he's the pioneer.
He made an album titled "I'm Gay."
Yeah.
And what's the internet gonna do? Go crazy about it
Go
because he's
wild.
literally saying,
Like, he's gay.
"Yeah."
He's
And
gay.
I don't even know what his
It's-
sales
it's
were, but
troll
everybody was
marketing.
talking about it.
It's
Yeah.
troll marketing. It's the same thing
Yeah.
fucking Tekashi did.
Same
Fucking,
thing.
Dudes are geniuses in that
Yeah.
way, man.
it's
Young
troll
Thug.
marketing.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Young Thug, the Carter 6
Free Thug.
he put
yeah.
out, it's troll marketing, man, because what's the Carter? That's Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And he
Yeah.
just puts out shit like that. Like, you're right, troll marketing is what works.
It's 100%.
It has to. Like, you know what I mean? Because
It's like clickbait.
Yeah, that's
how are
really
you
what
going
it
to
is.
differentiate yourself?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And
There's so many rappers. There's
so
so
many.
many people who do music, and it's crazy because you'll meet some of the most talented, mind blown that they're not Beyonce.
oh, sure.
And then you realize the more and more you go, damn, there's really people who could just press a button and change your entire life.
Bozito
That's
said
a
that when he was on here. I was talking about John Mayer and how I think he's like the greatest guitarist that there is, and Sposito was like, dude, there's guys that like you don't even know, and if they just got that one shot, they would revolutionize music.
Mhm.
Like in Spot, I don't know if you know
Yeah, yeah.
Ryan, but he's more of a heavy metal
Mhm.
artist, and I mean, I'm not really into that, but I mean, I respect the creative process
Yeah.
and what goes into
It's
that.
hard to do.
It's hard as fuck.
Let
And I thought about that, and he's right. There are dudes out there that, because it's heavy metal, they aren't going to get their shot.
Mhm.
And it's like you just said, man, there are some people out there that could be Beyonce.
Oh, yeah.
Or like in heavy metal case, could be like Ozzy Osbourne.
Mhm.
But they're never going to get that shot, and it's a shame. Like,
There's a lot of gatekeepers.
oh, yeah.
Let me- if somebody saw this interview and was like, you know what, I want to start rapping. What's one thing you would like recommend to them?
Be yourself. Be yourself. Please. So not on these songs start talking about something that you don't do, because like we were saying earlier, somebody eventually is try to pull your card.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And if you are portraying an image and you're not really that person, and then somebody who is really that person wants to find out if you're that guy, it's gonna be bad, man.
But you say that, but also there you got people who like I don't know, like Lil Uzi Vert, like fucking Bad Bunny, like you got all these people who they MGK, like they get their fame as themselves one way, but during their fame they kind of transition into some other like I don't want to say dimension, but like another gear, like I don't know, they just kind of go
like
off.
they're beyond, like they're not even human.
Yeah, like some weird shit. So like, what do you say to shit like that? Like they were themselves when they got the fame, right? Now they're like, they've, according to the public, the perception, they've changed.
Yeah, I think that change is necessary, and depending on what you're changing for and the reasons behind change, it's a good thing.
So let me ask you. So do you have to? Should you go in it yourself, and then once you get that fame, let's say you plateau, the only way to reach that next level is to kind of alter your appearance, kind of do something super trendy or super unique.
Yeah.
Like, would you say it's cool to like maybe not be yourself in that sense, to take yourself to the next level?
Because
be genuine, be yourself.
All that tells me is you will do anything. That's all it tells me. You'll be a crash dummy first.
Everything's got a price, though.
Everything does have a price, 100%. But also, there's people out here that I don't care what price you give them, their morals are way more important.
Definitely.
Way more important. There's people that, okay, for instance, like a Jay-Z, right? Obviously, I always go to him. It's my favorite rapper. So when you're cut from a cloth like Jay-Z's cut from, you would never, ever do anything as far as in regards to painting or dyeing his hair or just to sell records. Because truthfully speaking, man, there ain't no money in music. Music opens the door.
Yeah.
For different opportunities. You get relation. I mean, yeah, there's money in music, but for anybody out there, Google how many streams you have to have on Apple just to make $3,000. It's a crazy number for barely anything. So more than anything, I would say no, because if you have to rely on the music to fund your life, you did it wrong anyway. If you have to actually rely on like music sales and things of that nature for your livelihood, that's how you kind of get into that little circle of dangling it in front of you, and hey, you kind of have to do this. Because if I sign for $1 million, the only thing it's saying is I need to make $1.1 million so I can give these people their money. Because if I don't, I now have to listen to them. I owe them.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Not listen? Because now that's a lawsuit. They're gonna whatever the case may be.
That's true.
So for me,
still ain't gonna get the million.
Still ain't gonna get the million. Exactly. So like, if you ever find yourself in that position, somewhere you went wrong.
I love that you said that, man, because like Jay-Z, the story of OJ, his song, he talks about how he has all this money, but he doesn't talk about the music making him money. He talks about the painting that he had, and the painting was worth, he bought it for $1 million. Now the shit's worth $12 million, you know, and that's how he's making his money. The building he bought was worth $500,000, and now he can sell that shit for $24 million. Like,
listen,
that's the crazy thing. The music opened the door for him.
Music opens the door for you to be who you really want to be.
Kanye, all that rapping now goes and makes clothes. Yeah. I got 4 or 5 pairs of these motherfuckers, and
art?
Now he's in a lawsuit.
Yeah, I seen that.
Christ.
Listen, art, like legit, like paintings and shit like that.
It's a hustle, bro.
Not only that, but I've heard that they've used art as a way to launder money.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh,
you
absolutely.
you can't put a numerical value
Correct.
on art. It's subjective.
Correct.
Like how valuable, like how much do you like it? How much are you willing to pay for it? So that's one way they launder money.
Yeah.
So like when you say that, I'm like, what did he really like? What did he bought it for $1 million? Now it's worth 12.
Yeah.
Why is it worth 12?
And in the 90s, so there's a picture that recently surfaced on the internet. You might have seen it of Jay-Z back in like the 90s. He's got a shirt on of like the Simpsons. And the shirt looks like it's him because now his hair is locked and things like that. But on that shirt, that it's actually a Jean-Michel Basquiat.
Basquiat.
It's not Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, what he looks like now is a replication of Jean-Michel Basquiat. But a lot of people don't.
Prolific
He's
painter.
a painter. He's a prolific painter. 27 Club, I believe, died at 27.
27.
Overdose. And in Pittsburgh, there's a Warhol, Andy Warhol museum, art museum that me and my wife went to. It's incredible there. But yeah, so I think Jay-Z is for me the person that, like I said earlier, there was a big portion of my life where there was not a male figure in the house. It was only me. So even the fucking dog was a female dog in my house. So we turned to certain artists for information. And depending on what type of person you are and what information you're going to get, luckily for me, I went and got information on how to, because I always felt like he was the smartest rapper. And I always got like, I've always took pride in intelligence and knowledge and just trying to learn as much as I can. I feel like that's what separated me a lot from people I grew up with is I was always good at school. That really helped me. Teachers played a huge role in, keeping me on track. And like I didn't want to, let my grandfather down. There was teachers that I knew if they seen me, it would be terrible.
Yeah.
So that's why the music is so important because I knew when I was 13 from listening to Jay-Z how important art is. If you take a Jean-Michel Basquiat painting, hold on to it for a while and sell it. You bought it for this, but you could sell it for sometimes 10 times the price.
There was one that went for because I'm really big into art. Like I love painting. My wife is a prolific painter. I truly believe if she would have went to school, she'd be huge.
Wow.
So art in our house is huge, and I pay attention. There's websites I go to, Reddit. That's huge, and there's a couple subreddits, and there was this Basquiat painting last year that sold for like $350 million. It was an original print, original canvas, because on the back, he had this very distinct doodle he would do on the back, and it was his. It wasn't a reprint. It wasn't anything like that. $350 million, dude, and this dude, like, I don't know how much you know about him, his life, but like. His whole life, people didn't believe him.
Oh yeah,
his entire life. He was putting out paintings. This is fucking dog shit. What am I gonna do with this? And like they'd throw them away, and people found them, and word of mouth pimped him out. Yeah. And now
in Soho.
Yep. His shit is worth so much because people believed in him after he died. It wasn't John Smith, the fucking owner of the art house in downtown Manhattan. You know what I mean? It was you, me, Luis, and Trey over here fucking believing in him and making that value. And yeah, that's crazy.
Warhol played a major role in getting him into a celebrity status painter.
Yeah.
So Warhol did play a big role in it. But you're right, man. He went through years of being homeless, and all he had was a canvas.
That's all he had.
That's it.
There's a movie about him. Yeah, that's a good ass movie.
No bullshit. I just watched it 2 days ago.
That's a good ass movie, bro.
Yeah, rewatched it a couple days ago.
Andy Warhol was wild too.
Yeah, Warhol was wild.
So there's we talk about people being weird. Like
he was weird.
That motherfucker was weird, homie. Like, but I
feel like he was just an artist.
That's what I was just gonna say. Sometimes the weirdest people.
I just feel like Mark Twain.
Mark Twain wasn't fucking weird. There was a lot of shit wrong with Mark Twain. Let me tell you right now.
Yeah,
there was a lot of shit wrong with Mark Twain. It wasn't that he was weird. He was just a fucking horrible racist.
Yeah.
That was his fucking problem.
He was definitely a character. That's for sure.
He was a horrible racist. I hated his books.
But he was a smart guy though.
He was very smart. He knew how to market himself back in the 1800s because he would write the most racist fucking shit. And then he would put a spin on it. He would try to spin it, right? By making Tom Sawyer, right? The quintessential American novel about a white kid trying to get out of some hijinks and shit like that and trying to make him endearing. And he made him endearing. Tom Sawyer is an endearing figure to most people in American literature. But there are horrible racial undertones in that book. And it... Like, I remember reading it in high school in Miss Lawson's class, the one that, like, ATP. And I'm like, how the fuck is this not a banned book? Like, this is fucking horrible.
But I don't like the idea of banning books, first of all. But
I don't
also,
either.
You're talking about a time that was, like, way different than today's time. Like, back then, it was probably actually a really popular book because
it was a very popular book.
The undertones were the undertones were acceptable and kind of the norm back then. So.
And that's another. It's when you said about a banned book. That's another thing too, man. Like, there's no reason why in certain schools and things like shit like that can be read, but then there's certain books that are very, very and I understand why, but that there's like people in jail can't get certain books.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
To me, that's fucking crazy.
Absolutely. That's part of my internship in college was the Pittsburgh prison. Yeah. Doing shit at their library, and they would get, because a lot of their shit's based on donations, right? So like there was lists of books. If you ran across them, you had to put them in another box, and like it wouldn't go to them. There's a book, it's one of my favorites, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. It's about burning books, right? They are not allowed to have that.
Yeah, even like the 48 Laws of Power and shit like that.
It's like they don't want them thinking, man.
Yeah, they don't want them to think.
Like.
Not to think for themselves, at least.
Exactly, not to think for themselves.
Which is the entire scheme behind it anyway.
Exactly.
So listen, I listened to the news this morning. They were talking about banning books and how there's a push to ban like queer books and like fucking
stupid.
To grade schools, like
still stupid.
You think we should be talking about this shit with grade school kids, like being like gender identity?
I do.
To grade school kids.
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Because it's a fact of life.
Yeah, it's not.
At that point, if you're not going to let a kid read a story about gender bending, then I don't want my kid reading a story about fucking a kid getting someone getting murdered. Because guess what? A kid shouldn't know about getting murdered, but. A lot of those books we read growing up, people died.
All right, but here's
Bambi's fucking mom died.
Okay, but here's the thing. When you're talking about gender, you're talking about a lot of these books. For one, they talk about sexual acts, like literally, like fucking third graders, and they're talking about pulling out penises and giving blowjobs to third graders, for one. And then you're talking about gender, like for one, a kid should not be worried about their fucking gender, like. And there's only two genders. You got male and female. And then you have masculine females, masculine men.
Sure.
Feminine females, feminine men.
Yeah.
So you have two genders, male and female.
Correct.
But I don't understand why it's such a big fucking deal to make all these books about gender fluidity and all this other shit. Like, no, be your fucking self. If you're a masculine,
but at the same time, bro,
masculine female.
At the same time, though, like these things aren't going away. Right, so if as a society this gets introduced and these kids can learn to, hey, this isn't something I'm down with, or maybe, hey, I can be accepting of this, and you can learn it from a young age, then when you get to be in 11th grade and you're 17 years old and you're a fucking asshole anyway, because all 17-year-olds are fucking assholes, and you go to school and you learned in 3rd grade, like, hey, like, there's nothing wrong with someone being a little different than me. Then you're not going to have a fucking school shooting or someone getting made fun of and then killing themselves because David over here made fun of Jason, who now identifies as Jewel, you know what I mean? Goes home and kills herself or himself because David made fun of him. But David never was introduced to that notion when he was in 3rd grade, so he was never accepting. But then you have Tony and Robert over there who were introduced to that. And hey, man, like, I know you're different. I might not agree with you, but you know what? As long as you're living your life and you're cool with me and you're not making fun of me, I'm not going to make fun of you. And he's making fun of you. Dude, fuck off, Dave. Stop
Listen,
making
I
fun
think
of
there's
that
a difference
person.
between what you're talking about and whenever they're introducing sexual acts to a third grader in a form of a child's book.
But, okay, a child's book. But listen, third graders watch some fucked up movies. So
Listen, I was probably 5, 6 years old watching Channel 1.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So what's different about
BET
that?
Uncut.
But all right,
different?
So what's different about it is I'm at home, in my own home, where my parents could regulate that shit.
Yeah.
When you're at school, you don't have a control over what the fuck they're learning.
Sure.
Can I share a personal story with you?
Yeah,
guys? This
absolutely.
just happened to me the other day. So
Yeah.
I had my first, I would call it my first parent fail, because my kid came home from school. My oldest, Ariane, he's in 3rd grade, and he came and went right into his book bag and handed me this paper and was like, super excited. Dad, can you sign this? I got to turn it back in tomorrow. Like, of course, man. So I grab it, look at the paper, the cheerleading. So it's me right away. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is this? Well, you want to be a cheerleader? Why are we out here throwing the football then? You know what I mean? Like, so long story short, handled it completely wrong initially, you know, but then I had to also realize, like, and first and foremost, like, you know, just to add substance to it, after having a conversation with him, he genuinely had no idea what cheerleading. One of his friends was gonna do it, and he was like, "I'll do it with you," just being a supportive friend. He had no idea what cheerleading is. But what if he did really want to do it? And I just shut that down completely. Now that leads to, he doesn't want to talk to me about certain things anymore in the future. And now he's dealing with things that he believes he has to deal with on his own because he can't go to dad about it. And I've always said, like, with my children, regardless they are my children, I'm going to love with every ounce of me when it comes down to those boys. I do not care what direction they went, if they were gay, straight, whatever the case may be. However, do I personally think that the school should have been handing that to my boy? No. But I also understand that we are in totally different times. It's not like when I was in 3rd grade at all.
No.
It's just, that's
Right.
just the truth. And so for me, I'm going to look at it like, the fuck? But then I also have to remember that, like, there's full-blown little boys who are younger than my son who dress daily like a little girl at school.
And that's another thing about it too. So they're putting these books in front of these kids. You have 12-year-olds, 12-year-old girls who are getting double mastectomies, gender reassignment surgeries at 12 years old, puberty blockers, chemical castration drugs at these young ages where we don't know what the fuck the long-term effects of this shit.
Right.
So like when you put this shit in this idea in the kid's head in 3rd grade that, oh, you don't like to play with cars, Jimmy, you don't like to play with cars, you'd rather play with dolls. Maybe you're a girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that
60
easy though, bro.
Bro, the social contagion of this is insane.
I don't like
Think about how many transgender, they used to call it transsexuals. Not transsexual anymore, transgender. Because gender is a mindset, apparently. But think about when we were kids, how many people did we see or did we know of that portrayed themselves as the opposite sex?
Not many.
Not many.
But think about it now. Think about all the kids doing it now. They fucking social kid. I think it comes back to like Lil B and like the culture of like the hip hop.
It's an agenda,
and, like,
man. It's 100% an agenda.
Yeah, it comes back to the fucking the shit that these kids consume, the music, the books.
TV.
It all comes full circle, and it's like you said, it's an agenda. It's a fucking direction that society, the culture is going. And
Sure.
I think it'll come back around. The pendulum swings both ways.
It does.
And when it comes back around the other way, you're gonna have fucking, like you already have Andrew Tate. He just got canceled.
Yeah.
But he was fucking what some people would call toxic masculinity,
Mhm.
like the pendulum's gonna swing back the other way, where you're gonna have men fucking being masculine ass men.
Mhm.
It's gonna come back around.
And I think too, one thing I will say is I don't agree with certain TV shows. Like, I mean, Rugrats was my shit when I was
I
as a
love
little
Rugrats.
kid.
It's one of
Yeah.
my favorite shows of all
So
time.
now they remake it, and it's one of one of the kids' parents is
Phil
like
and Lil's
it's
mom
like
is a
or
lesbian.
something like
But
that.
here's the thing about that, though, bro. Like, really think
Oh, dude,
about
she
it.
was 100%.
She was 100% a dyke.
But
Yeah,
they
yeah.
also did have a father.
They did.
You know
but
what I
that
mean?
dude was fucking
He was a
masculine.
submissive
Yeah.
father.
And
Like-
it makes sense, but there was no change. And I didn't see the new Rugrats or anything like that, so I could be completely
It's
wrong.
actually really good.
Was it like these kids were older? Or
No,
like-
no. So the kids are still babies, and
So that's what I mean, though. So because
but
they're still
they,
babies,
but they
there
don't like her being a lesbian isn't like a fucking like storyline. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's just like
You
it's
just
just
see
like,
it.
oh yeah, Phil and Lil's mom, she's got a girlfriend.
Tom, I
Gotcha.
can't get over
That's
your hair
it.
right now, bro.
What's wrong with my hair right now, bro?
Look at the camera. Oh,
Suck my dick. All right,
no,
suck my
you
dick.
got this part. Stick it.
But no, like it's not like a storyline, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, to be totally truthful with you, I completely forgot. Like
That
until
it
like
was in there?
until like just now when I'm like, oh yeah, she is a fucking dyke.
And
Well, and nothing wrong with being a lesbian. That's the wrong nomenclature to use. Dyke is not the right word. I am so sorry. I don't want to get canceled. I'm not
Butch?
Kate.
No.
Butch. Well, we had Butch.
Butch
on
isn't
first week.
Butch isn't acceptable
But,
anymore.
like-
it's a
like, my
fucking
biggest thing-
masculine female. How about that?
Masculine, female. My biggest thing about it, bro, is like, I don't want like my son being special needs. Like, that's never going to be pushed on him, right? Because I mean, he can't fucking understand it. You know what I'm saying? But like, I'm gonna have another kid one day, right? And they're gonna go to school, and if they present that shit to him, you know, so like with Wyatt, I talk to him as though we're having an actual conversation. I don't baby talk my son. I talk to him like he's a fucking man. He can't talk back to me, but like, if Wyatt does something wrong, yo, you fucked up, bro. Like,
he understands.
he
that you
understands.
don't-
I'm gonna talk to my third grade son or daughter like a grown ass man or woman and like, hey, how'd that make you feel? Are you uncomfortable with that shit? If they're uncomfortable, I'm gonna go have a fucking conversation with the teacher. But if they're not uncomfortable and they're like, Dad, like, I'm not really thinking about that, but like, I know some kids that are, and they're having a hard time with it. Okay, so it's on you then, as my son or my daughter,
But
to be compassionate.
don't you think it should be your job to talk to them about that?
Should be, but at the same time, think about this.
Why would you have a school? Why
Think
would
about
you,
this.
Why would you delegate that to a school?
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I grew up, my dad in the house. I was very fortunate. And I was able to talk to my dad about some shit, right? I know some dudes that we grew up with that didn't have a dad in the house. And the mom was home, but the mom wasn't there.
Mhm.
She might be fucked up on drugs. Maybe she's working 4 jobs to support them. They didn't have anybody at home. So what about those kids, man? That teacher, Mr. Smith, who is mandated to give that to them, maybe Mr. Smith's the only male that they have that they can
Mhm.
talk to. And it's
Yeah,
a
but in a
comfort thing at that
classroom-
school.
Okay, I can. But so you have mentors.
Mentors,
have mentors,
yeah. So
right?
Mr. Smith, who handed that out, maybe Mr. Smith
Yeah, but
doesn't want to do it, but guess what? He's going to be there to talk to
But
that
in a
kid.
classroom setting,
Classroom's where you learn shit, bro. You learn shit in the classroom. It doesn't always have to be about 2 + 2. It doesn't always have to be about Christopher Columbus sailing the ocean blue. Sometimes the classroom, you learn about real life shit, man. Like when we were in 10th grade, I learned that a girl was fucking pregnant and she wanted to kill herself. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I learned real shit that day. You know what I mean? We were in 10th grade at Lakeside. I learned real fucking shit that day. I didn't want to learn that shit. You know what I mean? But like, I was uncomfortable as fuck. But like, she's talking, she's having a hard time, and you know, the teacher took her out of the classroom to talk to her and brought her to the guidance counselor. I don't remember his name, but the big tall guy that got drunk at Buffalo Wild Wings all the time. That dude. Shout out to him. Mr. Evanson. Mr. Evanson.
Yeah, I remember
Mr. Evanson. Shout out Mr. Evanson, man. That dude
Shout out
was shit.
Mr. Evanson.
But like, sometimes in the classroom you learn real shit, bro. Like,
that's
and
true.
not everyone's always going to agree with what goes on in a classroom. Think about 19. I'm going to butcher it and I apologize, but think about when schools got integrated and there were teachers in there teaching. It's okay for a white guy to be friends with a person of color, right? They're fucking teaching my kid that they can be friends with a person of color. I don't want that shit.
No.
But
That's completely different.
I'm not comparing
when
it.
you're
What
talking
I'm
about
saying
kids
is,
fucking getting the girls getting their boobs cut off at 15 years old.
What I'm saying is there have been times in the American education system when radical ideas have been introduced.
Sure.
And
I agree with you. And,
hey,
and it was a good thing.
In the South, do you think Mr. Robideau was like, I'm totally cool with my kid being taught this? He fucking wasn't. I will promise you that right now.
There's a difference.
But that's the situation that we're in with this too.
It's similar, not the same.
It's a similar situation. But the thing is, man, you said it's going to be a pendulum. It's going to come full circle. In 10 years, none of this shit's going to fucking matter because
or it's going to get worse.
But the thing is,
before it goes back the other way.
It always has to get worse before it gets better.
And this is my biggest thing in life. This is my biggest thing in life. Okay? The shit that you're doing right now, I'm happy for you because you're doing your shit and you're succeeding. But at the end of the day, what you eat doesn't make me shit, right? Okay? What you eat doesn't make me shit. But I'm happy that you guys are happy. Right? And I'm happy you're living your lives, you're living your truths. And you're not hurting me. You're not making fun of my family. You're supporting me, and I got to do the same for you, right? So, or at least a decent person would do the same thing, right? So, at the end of the day, I'm not concerned if, you know, a little girl when she's 15 is like, you know what, like I need to live my truth because at the end of the day, I want to be happy for her because she's starting.
At 15 years old.
She's starting to formulate these decisions.
At 15 years old.
Fucking knocked up at 15, homie.
This is what I'll say. What I will say is decision making for a 15-year-old to when we were these 15-year-olds are not normal 15-year-olds.
No, they're not.
They're not 15. Are 15. These kids. Now, do you understand that there's 15-year-old girls who live right here in Ashtabula, right? But because of their phone, they have access to let's just say New York City, Brooklyn, New York.
Their girls are 15-year-olds right now.
They are from Brooklyn, New York City. They have friends in Brooklyn, New York, and they've never been there in their life.
Right.
It's just because of Instagram.
Right.
They don't even relate to anybody here. They don't even have. They'll tell you my friends don't even live here. Or there's people where their friend group is based off of a game.
Yeah.
They play a game with people. Those are their real friends.
Yeah.
Who live across the country. But if you ask him, no, this is my one friend, he'll do the gamer tag, won't even know his real name, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the reality we're living in right now. So these 15-year-old girls, do I agree with that they should be able to make life-changing, lifelong decisions at 15? Who am I to call it, man? I'll be honest with you. Who am I to? Because you got to understand.
What you were doing at 15, though. What were you doing at 15 years old?
Dog, at 15 years old, we were going to practices and shit like that. But then after practice, we were running around the streets. That's what we were doing.
Would you say you were mature enough to make a life-altering decision at 15?
If you ask me at 15, yes. If you ask me right now, no.
Exactly. So as an adult, we've been through we've experienced adolescence.
Yeah.
We understand that we understand that our thought process back then was fucked up.
Yeah, right.
So I see it as our responsibility as adults now to put an end to such crazy radical shit, such as double mastectomies, puberty blockers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I feel what you're saying.
So at 15 years old, you can wait till they can't even fucking join the military yet. You know what I'm saying?
That's like
in Ohio, you can't even buy a pack of cigarettes till you're 21, but you want to go and get your fucking boobs cut off at 15, 16 years old.
It's such a tricky topic when it comes down to it, right?
It is.
Because even
I don't think it's so tricky.
If my 8-year-old came up to me and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm gay," I would know that you don't even know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would know that.
Yeah.
You have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
But then you have the people that say that, you know, you're 100% born that way and things like that. And I have absolutely no judgmental opinion towards anybody that's gay. I have friends who are gay. I love people who are gay. However, they also know, don't bring it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, I have family members who are trans. My sister, which is now she would consider herself my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But see,
I didn't know that.
yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
But and it's kind of weird for me being a sibling of somebody who's going through that, because I don't exactly see things. We've gotten into it about this. We don't see things the same way. I still consider she's a girl.
You're born this. Yeah, I get it.
Whether her driver's license says male, her whatever, anything says male, you are a biological female.
Mm-hmm.
You have masculine traits. You like to do things that masculine men typically do. It's all based on stereotypes anyways.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that you are a female. You are a girl.
And the one thing I'll say with this topic is, the one thing that I know is God is perfect, man. He don't make no mistakes. So what I think is that's altering, like J. Cole said, ain't no need to whatever the line is, ain't no need to put a paintbrush on what God already made, or whatever the case may be. Like, that would be my ultimate when it come down to my personal opinion towards it.
So you feel like people who are transitioning aren't pleased with what God made.
But here's the question about that. Right, so we're all built in that image. God has a plan for you. He built you, and He knows what you're gonna do. He knows. There's that thing, like, you can tell God that you got a plan, and He laughs, right?
Yeah.
What if that's God's plan? You know what I'm saying? Like what if?
But God also gave free will, right?
That
God
too.
did give
That
free
too.
will.
Yeah, that's
So if God makes no mistakes, and He gave somebody free will, and their free will was to go and alter their body to change what God had created,
I mean,
that's a slap in the face.
But
to God,
God creates everything.
I mean, ultimately, you know, this is putting the paintbrush on what He created.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, like, who's to say one's worse than the other?
Well, I mean, if you go by the Bible, they're all equally as bad.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh, dude, the Bible has some crazy shit in it.
The Bible does have.
You know, you're going to hell if you eat shrimp.
Oh yeah, dude, and I love shrimp.
You know, you're going to hell if you plant a garden and you have tomatoes, peppers, and cabbage in it. You're going to hell.
Yeah.
But see, I'm just going to clear it out the air now. I don't believe in God or like a higher power, heaven or hell or anything like that. But I mean, you know, just speaking on what you were talking about, I mean, it's all a sin in the eyes of God, right?
And I believe in bro, I'm really big into, like, do I believe in a higher power? Yeah. Do I think that I'm gonna go to a pearly gate and He's gonna read over what I did wrong and right in life? No. I don't think that at all. I believe in the universe more than anything.
Yeah.
The universe. I'm with you on that.
The universe more than anything. What you put out is what you receive.
I love that you say that.
It's all energy, bro.
Yeah, all energy.
So like I believe it's crazy. Like, so I have Jesus tattooed right here, and like, do I necessarily believe in that Jesus Christ was of this fucking dude sent down by God and a virgin birth and shit like that? No, I fucking don't. I grew up in the Catholic Church. I went to church every Saturday from the time I was born.
Yeah, my grandparents were Catholic.
Yeah, until I was in 12th grade, right? And I every time I listen to the stories, I'm hearing little holes. You know what I mean? Like, English major, you know, want to be an English major. I love reading, and I'm like, that don't fucking make sense. This doesn't make sense. So I started to, like, garner my own beliefs in, like, the energy and stuff.
Yeah.
I believe that, like, God is a manifestation of all the energy we put out. It's all like a creative consciousness, and we're all kind of like 1/trillionth of a gazillionth of God. You know what I'm saying? And when you go up there, there's no pearly gates. There's none of that shit, man. What there is everyone you've ever interacted with, everyone you've ever loved. You know, I've got animals that have died.
The first episode?
The very first episode, bro. My rabbit died
while
we were filming. So, like, I believe 5 years. That one was 5 years old. The one before it was 8. But, like, I believe I'm not gonna see my rabbit when I die, but I'm gonna feel his energy.
You gotta get tatted now, dude. You gotta get like a
Oh, bro. Yeah.
We already talked about that.
We already talked about it. But like I believe, because like everything feels like energy. Like when I'm around Anthony, I feel a certain way, and I have my entire life. You know, I've known you since we were 9th, 10th grade, but then we became good friends like later in life. But like the way I've always felt like around you has stayed the same. So like when I die, I believe I'll find you, and that energy.
So you're gonna be the first. You're dying before him, is what he's saying.
or hey,
Shit,
if I'm dead and then Anthony comes up, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's my
What's up,
boy.
bro? Yeah.
I'm gonna like float over, like my fucking entrails are gonna be like, and like I'm gonna be like, hey, like it's just a ball and it like pulses, like, hi Anthony, how are you?
No, but think about it. If it's all energy, right? This kind of brings me back to what I talked about earlier about being consistent and staying in the lane and finding people on your same wavelength, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
important.
yeah. So if like you find like-minded people putting out the same energy, doing the same thing, you're on their wavelength.
Yep.
You will meet up with them.
Yep.
So that's when I say like
ATP, man.
everything's energy.
They were all on that same wavelength. They all believed in each other. They all supported each other.
Their problem is they were just too young.
They were young, bro.
That's honestly the problem. People
didn't
went
have
their own
guidance
directions.
either.
They didn't have any guy. If they would have had
there was
somebody,
no one out here that,
nobody would have known what to do.
and that sucks.
Nope.
That sucks because if you
I tried
think
to get
about
him
it,
to let me manage him back in the day.
Did you really?
I'm dead.
think if like
Yeah,
Josh Monas had top of the world like it back then, like, and it was the level it's at now,
Yeah.
and ATP were around.
Oh yeah.
Think about how fucking big those kids would have gotten. It blows. I've thought about that, dude. Like, it blows my mind. Dantes probably never would have went to the military.
Nah.
Dantes would be signed somewhere. He'd be
That's the
rapping.
crazy thing. Once he went to the
Deontay
military,
wouldn't
he
have
just
the
stopped
swag
rapping
war.
altogether.
He'd have multiple swag wars.
For
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? Like, who knows? Fucking Mitch probably would be fucking.
Mitch is doing his thing right now. in
Hey,
Cleveland, man.
listen, that's our next guest.
Is he really?
That's our next guest.
Hell
I
yeah, Mitch is
can't
dope,
wait.
yo. Oh, that's gonna be a funny episode.
Hey,
For sure. That's
when
He
I
just
was
did
at-
that thing with Max Payne.
who Mitch did?
Yeah.
What'd he do?
I don't know.
Shout out Max. So I was just talking to Max
Yeah.
earlier. I told him I was gonna shout him out of here.
Yeah. No, I saw him and Mitch in Cleveland. It looked like they were in Cleveland with the Bentley. Fucking looked like they were about to do
Oh
a
yeah,
music video.
me and Max just shot a video with that white Bentley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we just shot a
That was
video.
in
for
Cleveland?
that. It was in Willoughby.
Okay.
Yeah,
You talk about
Yeah,
energy,
I'm pretty
bro.
sure.
Mitch.
I'm pretty sure Mitch was out
Oh,
there.
Mitch has energy.
So, my bachelor party, Mitch called me randomly and was like, "What are you doing, baby?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm in Cleveland. It's my bachelor party." He was like, "Come to the fucking Met, the fucking top floor, baby." So we went. We thought, honestly, we thought it was going to be bullshit. We really did.
Yeah.
We pull up. He's got us a VIP booth. We got everything. We later find out that it was one of Mitch's real estate friends that got the VIP booth, but Mitch put it together.
Mitch will surprise you.
Yeah.
He will surprise you sometimes.
He will.
You'll pull a trick out his hat and you'll be like, man, how the hell you...
That's
you
because
know?
he knows a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, he does, for real.
Whenever his strip club events come out, he's always
Listen,
hitting
the
me up. The cartel edition of the Booty Bowl.
24th, he's got some booty.
Yeah. I think we should go.
I leave for a cruise on the 25th, so I won't have.
Mitch needs to play Freako at that Booty Bowl, man. I've been telling him.
Tell him.
Mitchy Valentino, man. Me. You know me, man. You gave me one of my first shows ever. Actually, Mitch, you're really like one of the first people around here to actually believe. I appreciate you. Shout out to you. But yes, play Freako at the Booty Bowl, man. It just makes sense. Come on now.
It does make sense, actually.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like, if nothing else makes sense.
Makes
that
a
fucking
ton of
makes
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
shit, I don't know why you
Baby,
wouldn't.
baby.
Like,
I
But
love
yeah,
that,
man.
dude.
Energy's real, dude. And back to what we were talking about in regards to higher power and things like that. A lot of people say, look in the mirror and God is within them. Arm, leg, arm, head, body parts.
listen, I think if I have a theory that the universe is actually just a brain,
Tell me more.
and everything that let's say it's a brain of a person, everything that person thinks happens somewhere.
Oh yeah, I think I agree.
And I think our brain with another, like a sub-universe, and everything we think. That's why when people say they thought it into existence,
Yeah,
I think that's real.
I think it's very true.
Yeah.
Very, very. For the good and the bad.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But the bad far outweighs the good with shit that
For
you
sure.
think, bro.
Yeah.
Think about all the bad shit you think about.
Then it just happens.
It just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah, it's like whenever you
crazy.
think, like I tell my son this shit. He probably knows it more than anybody. Like if I can see him doing some dumb shit, I'm like, oh, he's about to fuck himself up. And I tell him, and he doesn't listen to me, and he gets fucked up. I'm like, yep, I knew it.
Literally
I thought that
step
shit.
by step on
Yeah.
how this is gonna happen.
I fucking
Yeah.
envisioned. I saw all that shit happen in my head before
Yeah.
it even happened.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
how it goes, man.
sometimes you can manifest the most beautiful shit, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can really manifest some beautiful shit in your life. Like,
Love.
love, you know, like, crazy, man. Like, friendships.
I think that it's the most powerful tool that we have as humans that is not used.
Love?
No, just manifest.
Manifesting?
Really putting it out, because I truly believe that when you put something out into the world, your actions follow. Right? So if you really want something bad enough and you putting that out there, like we were talking about earlier, your actions are going back pretty much every decision that you're making for this manifestation, because obviously you want it to be true for you and yours, right?
Yeah.
So just the entire demeanor behind just putting something out there is powerful, because it influences your decision.
Yeah.
Dude, like, and the thing is you can manifest something and it's not exactly what you wanted to manifest.
Yeah.
Right? But it's roundabout.
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes it's even better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like my son, he can't walk, right? He disabled, and I just keep saying, like, dude, one day
you're gonna walk.
You're gonna fucking walk, brother. And then my wife, I'm at work, never gonna forget this. My wife sent me a video. She found through his insurance this device she could strap to herself, and straps him in on her legs.
I've seen that.
And he was walking. And the thing is like, he like my son gets excited about stuff, but like not crazy. But like, he's walking and he's got a huge smile on his face and like looking around and like he's like laughing and shit. And I'm like, bro, you fucking walked.
That's beautiful, man.
Dude, it was the most. I started fucking crying. I ain't trying to sound like a bitch. I started fucking crying at work, and I was with customers, bro. Yeah. And I'm like crying, and my boss is like, "What the fuck happened to you?" And I showed him the video, and my boss is like crying. Wow. He's like, "This is amazing." I was like, "Bro, I told myself he was gonna walk one day, and he just fucking did."
Yeah.
So like, it's not always exactly how you manifest it. But like, think about like, I'm gonna manifest being successful one day, right?
That'd be pretty.
But here's the thing: I got a wife that loves me. I got a son that loves me. I got a roof over my head.
Successful now.
Exactly. I can eat every night and not worry about paying a bill. I got my friends. That's success.
You have peace.
Peace.
There's a lot of very, very materialistic, successful people, materialistically successful people that are so unhappy.
Mac Miller.
Don't nobody love them. They're using them. They don't have any peace. That's
sad.
A peaceful home atmosphere is probably the most powerful thing us as men could have.
Absolutely.
Because it takes away so many worries and thoughts that we would have if our home wasn't peaceful.
Agreed.
You know, all of us have wives that hold it down.
Yeah.
You know, if my wife wasn't my peace, I wouldn't be able to do half the things I do. 100%. You know what I mean?
I mean, we're doing this right now.
Right now.
They're holding the kids down.
My wife is at home with our son. Yeah. Jahida is up there making sure Gianni don't run down here and go, Dad. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to G, man. G's my dude.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna owe that.
Listen,
he's got son of a bitch money.
You autographed a piece of paper for him one time. Yeah. He's got that shit hanging in his wall in his bedroom right now.
That's what it's about, man. The kids, dude. Because kids are gonna. So adults form opinions, right, based off of their experience.
Yeah.
Oh, I could never do that because he can't do it because I know I can't. You know, kids look at it just for what it is, and the kids are so honest with you. If something sucks, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, it sucks."
If you want the truth, ask a kid or ask somebody drunk. Ask a drunk
kid
person.
or an alcoholic.
Yeah,
they'll tell you the truth.
Yeah. Or a fucking demented 90-year-old woman.
Yeah, or like, just that old woman who just doesn't give a shit anymore.
The old alcoholic grandmother who don't give a fuck.
She don't give a fuck no more.
She got the raspy
tell
voice.
You what it is. Yeah.
She got the cigarette hanging out of her lips. Listen, sweetie, it's dog shit. You're probably gonna fail.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not even gonna do it.
Yep.
Not even gonna try it. Fuck that. But like a kid, man, that's the greatest shit in the world. Like, you ask a kid something. Like, I asked Gianni last week when he was home from football. I'm like, "What's up, bro? Why aren't you at football?" And he was like, "I'm sick." I was like, "All right. Well, I mean, like, You contagious? You got COVID? Nah, just my sinuses. You know, it's not draining my energy that bad, but you know what? I probably do need to stay home. Okay.
Rest.
Okay. Yeah, cool, man. Yeah. All right, hey, have fun.
Yeah.
And that was Gianni. I'm like,
Yeah.
my wife didn't even tell me to have fun tonight, but a fucking little ass kid's concerned if I have a good time with his dad or not that night. That is awesome.
Yeah, the kid. I being in the position for years. I mean, like you just earlier today, I shared that post on Instagram of 10 years ago. Me interacting with kids, and then you fast forward 10 years later, and it's still kids treating me the same exact way. So it's
Is
like
it the kid, like new kids, or is it like
like you know, like Gianni, like like Adi, like a whole bunch of different kids that going to the block party. Oh, that's you guys had Sal Jackson on here the other week. Sal threw a block party I performed at.
I was there for that.
Yeah, you were.
No, not the block party at the
47 on West.
Yeah,
at
the hoops.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was a special moment for me too, man, because I was on the street that I grew up on performing.
Yeah, you said you were like right down the road.
Yeah, I could look over and see the house I grew up in, man. So that was like
performing.
Yeah, it was a special moment because all these kids were right there, just kind of like this,
Glued, yeah.
and to see that's what matters the most. Because I know like
Fuck yeah, it does.
those kids are the ones like they're gonna be the future, and I love Ashtabula, man. Like I have a burning passion for this city. It's home. I feel like if it weren't for Ashtabula, I would not be the person that I am today.
Absolutely.
Just the culture behind Ashtabula, man. I was really in the middle of that. Like living right across the street from West, every home game, my bedroom was facing Canary Field. So I feel like that played a big role in me wanting to do music too, because I used to hear the band practicing when I was a little kid, and the drums and snare and all that other stuff before the game. My dad was a Panther, my mom was a Panther. I wanted to be a Panther bad, man, but they made Lakeside.
They made Lakeside, yeah.
But I was a Puma though. I was a West Puma. So.
Yeah, West.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to West.
Yeah, I know. I got a break.
I can't
still
relate.
got a break.
I was Columbus.
Were you?
I was.
Columbus was dope.
No, it wasn't.
Columbus, well, for
Lakeside
me,
9. That's all.
I heard
Yeah,
Lakeside 9
9
was super fun.
Harbor High
That
School,
was the only
bro.
Harbor school I went to.
Yeah,
Hey, Mr. Quine put that fucking horse on the stairs and couldn't get it down
I
there.
heard about that
playing
shit.
thing. What's that thing he was playing? You know that
The bagpipe?
He
yeah.
was playing the bagpipes, homie.
He still did that when I was
Hell
a school. I used to love it.
That's a dope instrument.
He
Super
tried
dope.
buying a fucking car from me and said I should give him money off because he was my high school teacher. I was like,
You didn't give me A's, bitch.
he did give me A's.
Did he give them to you, or did you earn them?
I earned them.
Okay, see there
I'm
you
Tom
go.
Roth. I earn everything. I earn it all.
If you would have gave you the A's, then I would have been.
Then that's different. Yeah, I feel that. But yo, I mean, like, Asheville is a fucking beautiful place. Man. It's filled with beautiful people. It's filled with different people, different walks of life, different belief systems, different religions, and somehow, some way, everyone makes it work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, we are pretty.
and we protect our own, man.
This is
That's
one of the
crazy
only
thing.
cities that you could be in, and so one thing for sure that I realize is just being from here, we're so different.
Yeah.
We're so different than so many other people, like naturally just stand out. But this is like one of the only, maybe for me, this city is one of the places where you can have a friend where his father is the biggest drug dealer in the world or in the city, and then you have another friend where his father is a doctor or lawyer, and we're all friends.
Absolutely.
You blend so many different, because we're so small. It's such a small town, so all these different worlds blend.
It's crazy.
You
how
don't
that
have like
blends.
a shit ton of doctors here
I
hanging out
wonder-
with other doctors. You know what I mean? Like,
Makes me wonder what kind of favors and deals been
because
everybody's so close. Like,
yeah, everybody's so close.
yeah.
Man.
I mean, I
Everybody's
know
so
of
close.
some, but
And here, when you have relationships, they're so.
We had to
important.
cut out one of those. We had to cut out one of those things on one of the podcasts with Bart.
yeah, we didn't put that.
We didn't.
That
put
was
that in,
that was
thank God.
outside. That was after the cameras were off.
Those deals. That was crazy.
But
Yeah, it's crazy though, man. How
It's a special place, man. I love it.
Cleveland, you don't have that.
Mm-mm.
No.
You have
that's
sides.
because
of
I feel like Cleveland is like the industry.
Yeah.
Everything's so cutthroat.
everything's cutthroat, and in Cleveland, there's so. When you're in Asheville, you kind of can't escape it. You know, when somebody gets shot, whatever the case may be, the whole city kind of feels it. Even if you didn't know who this person is, you're still affected by it somehow.
Is everything.
Because if you start asking questions, you're probably maybe 2 to 3 people removed from the person that knows the person who just got shot.
Yeah.
In bigger cities, it's not really like that. And then the things that happen out here are always more messed up because it's normally coming from somebody that you know.
You know. Yeah, hell yeah.
That's what makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Because like this person knows they shouldn't be doing me like that, but they are.
Yeah.
It's like so those back doors that happen in bigger cities, I feel like the back doors in a smaller city is way worse because it's coming from somebody you genuinely probably have some love for.
Yeah.
But it's up to people like us, man. Change the narrative of this city. I loved what you said.
Change the narrative, change the culture and the music.
Yeah,
Change
everything.
Bullshit, killing each other, and shit like that.
Like you said, Ash the Beautiful or Trash the Beulah. Which one? Oh.
Which one do you want to be a
Which one
part
do you
of?
want to be a part of?
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to complain, and it's hard to make a solution.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But diamonds, I guess diamonds can be made in the lab, but I mean, at the same time, pressure makes those diamonds, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know about anyone else, but I'd rather have a little bit more pressure and make something beautiful than make it easy and just
100%.
complain. I don't like complaining, man. It's easy to complain.
It doesn't change anything.
It doesn't change anything.
Changes absolutely nothing.
Changes absolutely nothing, man. And what's the point?
And just being here in Ashtabula, man, like I said, this is something that we get so many life lessons very early.
We do.
Very early.
You learn about a lot of shit very early.
You grow up quick.
You
grow
do.
up real quick here. I know for me personally, I did. And being a father now, my job is to protect my kids' innocence so they don't have to. So tying it all back into like that cheerleading for him, that was the biggest thing, man. This world is ugly.
It is.
And right away, I knew I needed to protect him from that.
Mm-hmm.
Because the world is such an ugly place. And,
because there is really nothing wrong with being a male.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it.
You get a lot of pussy if you're a male cheerleader. You got a front row seat, literally.
I mean, a lot of people are gonna talk shit about you, but you know what? Like,
and that's what I was saying to him. I was like, hey man, you know, like a decision like this is like your best friend at school right now. You could go to school tomorrow with this, and I signed the form. I let him make a choice after he found out what it was.
Yeah.
I said, bro, you know, put it back in your book bag. You make a choice tomorrow if you want to give it to your teacher. But you know, I was telling him, your best friend at school right now. You could turn in that paper and everything changes. Like it.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing about being a parent is not to try not to influence your child to move a certain way.
Yeah.
But to show them what the choices will bring.
Yeah.
You know, like you can just keep it real with them, tell them the truth, you know, let them make their own decision. But don't, you know, show them what it's going to be like, but don't make the decision for
like
them.
you said, you know, with your kid, you could play by play be like, if you do this, I could tell you how you're going to hit your head.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just have to let them
let them hit their head. Absolutely.
And then you be like, see, I kind of told you you're going to hit your head. Now do you believe me? So next time, listen.
It don't work.
It doesn't work. It never does.
It doesn't work. I tell my son all the time, I'm like, I can see that I'm psychic, dude.
Yeah.
I'm psychic. And I tell him all the time, I'm like, I knew that shit was gonna happen.
Yep.
He still don't listen to anything I say. Well, he does, but a lot of times he tries to. If I tell him, "Oh, you're gonna slip and fall," no, you're not. How do you know you're not?
Right.
How do you know you're not?
Yeah.
You can tell the future, cause I can see what you're doing. And I can tell the future. You gonna bust your fucking ass. Yeah. Gotta let them hit their head though.
Sometimes letting them hit their head is the best thing, man.
It's the best learning experience.
The best learning experience. It's the most beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because then they look at you and they're like, maybe I do got to listen to you now, man. You know?
Sometimes you got to know it hurts.
My dad would always tell me, like, you do this, you're going to fuck up, man. I'm going to find out, and I'm going to bust your ass. And I would fuck up, and my dad would bust my ass.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, there was beauty in that, man, because now, if my dad never busted my ass those times, I wouldn't be the person I am today, man.
We used to...
a good dad, a good friend. You know, good husband.
After the games at Ganeri, St. John games, and, you know, Beulah games, and also Lakeside, we used to go underneath the bleachers when the game was over with and look for, like, money.
Yeah.
Because people used to drop so much out their pockets and things underneath the bleachers, so we used to, like, go and do whatever. And during that time, my dad used to tell me, like, when you're under there, do not jump around, because if you jump, you're gonna hit your head. And sure enough, man, I didn't listen to him, jumped in, right, a screw went at the top
Oh,
of my head.
Jesus Christ.
Top of my head, man. So like that's just kind of like you're saying. You know, they tell you hit your head, boom.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'll never do that.
Never do that shit again.
Ever. Oh man, awesome. I need a schedule. I need to come check it out. What am I do, man?
Did he sign the back?
Yeah.
That's gonna be worth some money one day, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to frame it. So,
NFL free safety Gianni Styles Oquendo.
like one of the coolest cats ever. What's up, man? What's going on? What's up? I'm gonna put this in my bag.
Yeah, so 2 in right now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
I don't know. Let's end with a rapid fire.
Non-hip hop artists that have had the most influence on your career. Top 3.
Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra, I would say Bob Marley. And oddly enough, Ghana.
You got 2 people you can headline a big ass show in Cleveland with. Sold out, but you got to bring these 2 people with you. Mm-hmm. Who are they?
Jay-Z. Is that what you mean? Something like that? Jay-Z, because that would be a moment for me. I'm home with Jay-Z at a sold out show, and then that next artist would be an artist who nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
It's going to tie into my next question. Biggest artist from Ashtabula that never made it that should have had a shot.
And it's hard to answer because I think most of them.
Most of them?
I genuinely believe that Ashtabula is, when it comes down to music, very, very. I really like C-Rock, Christian, Rosario. I think that he's dope, and I like how he has his whole little team, all of them, their whole little clique. I really like that. Zay, Lil Zaya, he's like a 16-year-old kid. I brought him to the studio for the first time. I just picked him up and brought him to the studio. And he's like super impressive.
He's from Beulah?
Yeah, he's from Beulah. He a young kid and kind of stays to himself, real quiet, but has so much knowledge, man. Like you could tell he grew up quick too. He reminds me of me. He reminds me of me a lot. Very like soft spoken, but talks. You know. So them 2, and man, I'm so like far removed from it that I don't even really know who all coming up rapping is. I don't really say whoever, and then I'm so far removed from it that I try my best to reach down and just give people what I do know. Mm-hmm. But obviously, there's so many different people. When it comes down to people I think that deserve a shot, deserve recognition just based off of passion. One of them sitting in this. But and then you have other people who I look at like pioneers, like Rashad, he got a Jersey, Lee. So many different people who paved the way for me to and they embraced me right away, which helped me so much. So yeah, just shout out to the whole city, man. There's not one specific, my opinion, ringleader. I think that we all are trying to contribute to opening the door here for this city. There's some light on here, man, because it's one of a kind.
I agree with you. One other question. Well, I guess tell us, like, what do you have coming up? Any shows?
I go on a tour with Capital Structure Entertainment, and that is Big Hef, who is he's actually a A&R for Def Jam. We're going on a 16-city tour. He's actually just coming off. He's responsible. Like he put Megan Thee Stallion on like her tour right before she blew up. He's kind of like that person that kind of put you in the door. Mm-hmm. And he's actually from Cleveland, so dope. he's his responsibility with Def Jam is kind of to monitor the entire Midwest region.
Okay.
And he reached out from doing shows in Miami and stuff like that. So that'll be next. That's October. So
You on the road the whole time, or
yeah,
you coming
whole time.
back?
Nope. Whole time.
Ooh,
Yeah,
boy,
whole
that's
time.
gonna be.
It's gonna be crazy.
How
It's gonna
long
be
is the
something.
tour?
16 days. So I mean,
Oh, you're
there's
doing
gonna
the
be
city a day or what?
pretty much. There might be like a day or a couple shows where maybe there's like a gap in between or something like
But
that.
then
But
are you doing like
yeah.
multiple shows one day or some shit like
Yeah,
that?
that too.
Yeah.
2 shows in one day sometimes. And the most I ever did in one day was 5.
So what's next for?
And just keep growing, keep remaining who I am. I'm really loving who I want to stay there. I love who I
Don't get complacent though.
No, never complacent. But I love looking in the mirror and being okay with the person that I see. The decision making, the not having to. And I could easily be trying to go out here and just be a gangster rapper. And I really, have storylines and things that, back those type of things. But I don't want it. Like we were talking about energy. For me, continue to just elevate, man. Everything that I have in my life right now, I don't want it to change. I love my wife. I love my kids. We have a home. I just want to elevate all of that for the right people and for the right reason.
We have elevate. So how can people, if somebody wanted to book you or they wanted to get a hold of you, social media, like how they gonna do that? Go ahead.
Elevated Music Group, Elevated_Score Music Group. Any bookings is CEO at elevatedmusic.net. And then you can also just get with me, man. Renz Scruggs on all platforms, all social media. I'm terrible at checking my messages because I hate social media. I absolutely. But I understand how important it is. So, yeah, still a regular person, so it's not hard to get hold of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's next. Keep the wheels turning for the city.
Do it, bro.
Yep.
Okay. We need it. We deserve it. Yep. We deserve it. Tom, you got any questions?
Good. I've loved this. It's been a fun time.
This was dope. I didn't realize we've been doing this for 2 hours. That's crazy.
This shit goes quick.
That's awesome, man.
Well, I guess we'll end it there. So, thank you for tuning in to a new episode of The Cut. We look forward to having you again on the next one. I am Anthony Oquinto. Oh, if you haven't already and you enjoy this content, we make shit like this basically every week. So make sure if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, share this with your friend. I know he's from the city, so he knows a lot of people in the area. So you can definitely share this with somebody you know. I know you can. And like I said, subscribe. Like 85% of you fuckers who watch this show don't subscribe. Subscribe, bitch. Subscribe. Okay.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel, man.
Yeah,
like, comment, and subscribe.
Share it. Yep, all that. But I'm Anthony Oquinto. I'm hosting this one today. And then, of course, we got Tom Roth. And a big thank you to our special guest, Renz Scruggs. Enjoyed having you. And we'll see you on the next one. Good night. Peace.